Your purpose is bigger than your position. It runs deeper than your passion, and it is stronger than your pursuit. Purpose is the entirety of your life's assignment on this side of time. But if you must truly become, you need the capacity to bear the weight of your unique assignment without crumbling. Our faith, our families, our finances should no longer bleed just because you want to lead. So that's why we've all gathered from all over the world to delete the weapon in our arsenal that no longer serves us. To close the gap of knowledge, skills, and attitude, then and only then can we move from where we are to where God intended us to be. So, are you ready? My name is Ayoyemi, the official compere for today. Welcome to the Purpose Conference 2025.
And finally, Purpose Conference 2025 is live. Yes. The much talk about event is happening. I'm super excited. How about you?
I'm so delighted to be here this morning.
Thank you all for joining. You're welcome.
Yes, welcome once again, all. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night from wherever in the world that you're watching us from. We're delighted to have you here. And so I would like you to help me do something. You will go to the chat room. There's a link there for this event that is happening currently. I would like you to share it to everyone, share it on all your social media platforms. I'd like you to take it and just share it so everyone can also mount up with you.
Yes, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that Purpose Conference has started. Okay, now before we get deep into it, let's quickly introduce ourselves. And of course, my name is Honorable Ayoyemi, and I've got beside me my amiable Honorable.
Yes, Honorable Oluwatosin.
Yes, so together we'll be the hosts for this wonderful event. And now we've got our amazing participants watching from different countries, different cities, and different time zones. So let's light up the chat room. Go to the chat and tell us 3 quick things: your name, your location, and in one sentence, your expectation for Purpose Conference 2025. Your name, your location, and in one sentence, your expectation for Purpose Conference 2025.
Yes, we'll be in the chat room to interact with each and every one. So we would like your responses immediately, please. Doing that, I would like to take a trip down memory lane to Purpose Conference 2024, which was themed Out of the Ashes. It was it was very impactful for me. It was the first of its kind I had ever attended. It was like the speakers, they talked about how we can take the pieces of our past and then put it together to make a better future, no matter what the past looks like. And yeah, we hope that this conference will be bigger and better and more impactful than that of last year.
Oh yes, for this year, we are not walking or crawling. We are mounting up. So tell me guys, how many story building would you like to mount on? Because as for me, Honorable Tosin, I'm ready to mount on as many story building as possible.
And climb
no
mountains.
Stopping. Yes. So
Yes.
Honorable Tosin, let's go back to the chat room to see our amazing participants' expectation for this wonderful event.
Yes, we have one response. We need your responses, guys, so please comment in the chat room. I can see Femi from Abuja and
I want to know who to marry. Okay, Honorable Femi said, I want to know who to marry. Please let the response keep coming in. Let the response keep coming in. Let the response keep coming in.
Someone replied him saying, God abeg, now everywhere una they find wife. I'm sorry, but that's a joke from his part. Yes, there's a next comment. My name is Ayomi Kosi.
Honorable Ayomi Kosi.
My bad, Honorable Ayomi Kosi. I am listening from Kaduna. My expectation is to get blessed. Yes, thank you for that.
Please let the
comments
roll in. Coming in. Yes. Tell us your name, your location, and in one sentence, your expectation for this wonderful event. Please let your comments roll in. Okay, and if you are just joining, welcome to Purpose Conference 2025. There is a link on the chat. Copy the link, paste it on all your social media platforms. Tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend that Purpose Conference has started. Okay, let the comments keep rolling in.
Yes, we have another comment from Juliet Oloko in Kaduna. She says she wishes to be blessed and equipped. Okay, thank you for that.
Honorable Juliet. Honorable Juliet, yes, thank you. Let the response keep coming in.
Okay, we have Honorable Christiana joining from Ibadan. I look forward to a mind shift. Yes, and we have Honorable Enobong John from Benin City. I expect to be impacted by the honorable guest speakers. Yes. Let's keep them coming.
More. Let's keep coming. If you are just joining, you're welcome to Purpose Conference 2025. Tell us 3 things: your name, your location, and your expectation for this wonderful event.
We have a comment from Honorable Adeyemo Ariola Titi in Abuja. Her expectation is a fresh view from the mountain top. Okay, one more. Honorable S.A. Abiere in Kaduna. His expectation is, he just wants to sit and listen and get blessed by the speakers.
Okay.
Yes.
We have another person, Honorable Ezekiel, joining from Ogun State, expected to be blessed. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. And once again, I would like to welcome you to Purpose Conference 2025. And if you're just joining, there is a link on the group chat. Copy the link, paste it on all your social media platforms, tell a friend, tell your enemy, tell your friends again that Purpose Conference has started. So guys, do you know that something transformational is about to happen?
Yes.
Our speakers are fully loaded. They are ready to pour out their wisdom. So all you have to do is grab your writing materials. Okay? Grab your writing materials and be ready to receive. All right, to proceed, I would like to call on our convener, a woman of timber and caliber,
a woman of such depth that the world hasn't seen,
a loving wife to Mr. Adekomi, who would like to welcome a visionary leader who inspires us all in person of Honorable Ayodumomi Adekomi for our welcome address. Over to you.
Thank you for being a part of this transformational journey. So I was going to ask, across these pictures, what is one thing that is common? Can you just go to the chat room? Let me see. What is one thing that is common across all the pictures? I want to use that to just make a point before we proceed. What is one thing that is common? Am I getting feedbacks? I don't know, for some reason I can't connect via phone. Responses? Okay, please, across these 4 pictures that you can see. Okay, someone says I'm wearing white. Is that the only thing you see? What else? My lovely self. There's one thing I want to still see. I'm wearing white. Okay, I'm wearing white. White what? Like a white top. Let me just. Okay, so across all of this picture, it's still the same me. Wearing white top, but I mean different, whatever, under. And that will be my first proposal today to you, that a man of purpose, a man of vision, a man of destiny will have to wear many hats. A man of purpose, a man of vision, a man of destiny will have to wear many hats. per time, sometimes simultaneously, sometimes you tend to take some to the background and just, showcase the rest. But there's nothing like this is just me. You will have to be a lot of things at the same time. So I wake up, say 4:30 a.m. I wake up as Ayo. I pray. As long as it's getting to 5:30, another cap is added. I'm heading straight to the kitchen to prepare for the family. Once it's getting to 7:30, I'm heading straight to work because Madam Ayo has to resume at work. On getting to like 5:36, maybe I'm heading to church or wherever I want to go to be something else again. So I don't want to be doing well at home, and I'm not doing well in these other aspects of my life. I don't want to do well other areas of my life, and I'm not doing well at home. So a man of vision, a man of purpose will have to wear many hats at the same time. And if you must wear many hats at the same time without crushing or without crumbling, you need to have capacity. Trust me, you need to have capacity. Please, can I have the next slide on? You need to really have capacity if you must be all of these things at the same time. So I want you to use this picture that will be projected next. Tell me what you can see, just for us to understand the subject of capacity. The theme for the year is mount up. No, not this, the one before. Okay, this one. Okay, thank you. So we want to talk about mounting up. Mounting up looks big. In one word, it is building capacity. So what exactly is capacity? So let's just use these three pictures to understand what capacity is. So guys, how many eggs do we have in the first picture? How many eggs do we have in the first picture? Egg lovers, can I see your comments? Can I see your comments in the chat room? Okay, someone says 30. Thank you very much. So assume for 1 minute that the second picture has 1,000 crates. We now know those that had A1 in mathematics in school. So assume for 1 minute that the second picture has 1,000 crates. How many eggs do we now have? So please go to the chat room, do your maths, and let me have the answers. Okay, someone says 30,000. Amazing. We have geniuses in the room. Now, to the third picture, let's assume we have 1 million crates. 1 million crates. How many eggs do we have?
1,000,005.
Can I get feedbacks and responses? So for the third picture, assume you have 1 million crates. So how many eggs do we have? We are my mathematicians. Can I have you? So I'm looking into the chat room. Can I get feedbacks, responses? Let's do this together so we just understand this. Oh, amazing. Someone said 30 billion. Wow. Okay. So now we can begin to pinpoint the meaning of capacity here. And the first one is your maximum ability to receive. Maximum ability to receive. Sorry, I didn't ask all of those questions so that I can maybe mark the script. I just wanted us to see what I want to talk about. So the first picture here, you have 30 eggs. That is, even if you have 1 million eggs, this crate will not take more than 30. That's the capacity. The second one will not take more than 30,000. That's the capacity. The third one will not take more than 3 billion. That's the capacity. So guys, what is your own capacity? What can you take? What can fill you? What is it? So your ability to receive, to contain, is what capacity is. Now, the second point I want to make is your ability to withstand. So imagine that a strong wind blows now. Blows picture A, blows picture B, blows picture C. Which one do you think will scatter, and shatter totally? I'm looking into the chat room, please. Let's just do this together in 2-3 minutes. So a strong wind now blows and hits picture A, hits picture B, hits picture C. Oh, amazing. So I'm saying picture A will just scatter, like nothing at all. And that happens a lot of times. Life comes to test us. Life comes to pressure us. A lot of people are living like they are carrying one bag of cement. Like their destiny is like one bag of cement on them. You can carry, excitement can help you carry it for like 30 minutes. But after 5 hours, you need more than excitement to carry that bag of, cement on your head. So what is it that you can withstand? What is it that you are able to withstand per time despite the pressures? happening around. That is what your capacity is. Very, very important. What is it that you can withstand? What it is that you are able to withstand? And this is where compromises happen. You know the right thing you have received, but being able to, I mean, this happens a lot of time. Good girl, has amazing values, but on getting to university, you just see that she's now pregnant. What happened? She knows the truth. She has heard the truth so many times. In fact, maybe she has even preached the truth. But on getting to the university, a lot of pressures happened, and it just went off like that. And she was not able to, withstand that pressure. And the third picture here talks about, the third point about capacity is your ability to produce. So let's say you're going to fry egg for people. How many people can you possibly feed with a crate of egg? Maybe 30 people if you do one per person. If you do two per person, maximum 15 people. For the second picture, you feel like maybe 15,000 people. And so that which you have inside of you, that you have held over time, how well can you translate it to better your world? That's capacity. Let's go to the final picture for today before I wrap up. I'm not supposed to talk for more than 10 minutes. I don't know if I'm exceeding my time. Okay, so this third picture here talks about different life stages that we are in. Picture A is a child. A child, what a child needs is different from what a teenager needs. That's picture B. What a teenager needs is different from what an adult needs. And what an adult needs is different from what an elder needs. So for you, what life stage are you? Financially, spiritually, physically, all around. You are the one that can answer this question actually. Where am I? What do I need? And all that. So it's going to be a very rich conversation today. I don't even have enough time to really go into mine. It's going to be a very, very rich conversation today. I just want you to open your hearts. Thank you. You are here already. But please open your hearts. Don't cover up. Ask questions. And, we have amazing speakers here to help us sort out some of those questions as we interact today. So please ensure that you engage with us and have fun too. Yes, Purpose Conference is becoming like that annual family meeting. In family meeting, we pray, we laugh, we gist, and we do all of that. But ensure that the reason why you are here is fulfilled and established at the same time. On that note, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining everybody to explore this subject of capacity together. The journey of purpose is a personal one, but it's not private. It is personal, it is unique to you, but it's not private. It's not a secret. You can tap from the resources that are around you to better your life. And that is exactly why we are here today. Thank you so much. I'd like to hand over to my amazing compares that are doing a good job already. So please sit back, relax, and let's mount up. Thank you.
Wow, that was a wonderful welcome address from our convener. She said, understanding capacity and the ability to produce. Thank you so much, Madam Adekomi, for that wonderful welcome address. Okay, so let's loosen up a bit.
Yes,
this is the game we're about to play now is called Guess the Brand. So let's see how well you'll be able to identify popular brands. Media, are you ready? Okay, so if you're ready, let me know on the chat room and type I am ready.
I'm waiting for your engagement, guys.
Let me know if you're ready. So here is how the game works.
Yes.
Images will be displayed on the screen, and our duty is to identify popular brands. Are we ready?
Yes, they are ready. They are ready for us, media.
Okay, media, over to you, please. Okay, so can you guess this? Please make use of the chat. Make use of the chat.
Yes,
it's like you people make use of this brands every day. See the way answers are just coming in. All right, thank you, media. The next.
My last one, corrections. Next.
Okay.
Okay, yes, we have answers already, and we are correct. Someone said Temu. Unfortunately, it's not Temu.
Okay, thank you. The correct answer is Jumia. All right, next one, please, media.
Okay, we have answers.
We have so many answers. You people make use of this brand.
We
every
have
day.
rich people.
I'm so happy. Okay, thank you. The rest, please.
Gucci.
How will you be able to get this?
Okay, I'm waiting. Crocodile? Really? Yes, we have answers. We have the answers.
Thank you. Yes, that is
Lacoste
correct.
is the right answer. Gucci is wrong.
Okay.
We have the next image up, guys.
Yes, we got the correct answer. Thank you. The
Calvin
next one,
Klein.
please, media. We should all know this. Even my 5-year-old nephew would know this.
Yes, we have it there. Nike is correct.
All right, thank you. Next. This one is looking like tiger.
Puma is correct. Prada is wrong.
Prada is wrong.
Prada
Puma is the correct
is wrong.
answer. Next. I will definitely know this one because I'm getting it one day.
Toyota.
Toyota, yes.
Mercedes.
Toyota is the correct answer. Thank you. Media, the next.
This should be very easy for us now.
It's having red, green, blue, and yellow. How? Someone said Windows. Microsoft. Yes, that's the correct answer. Thank you. Next one. This one is looking like Woman King. Starbucks. Thank you. That's the correct answer. Who knows this?
They know it.
They know it. Yes.
Amazon. Yes.
Thank you. The next one. This is looking like something we eat. No, I'm already giving you people hints
They've
now.
gotten it.
I'm sorry.
Apple is correct.
Apple is the correct answer. This is having red, white, and blue.
Okay.
Pepsi. I know everybody takes Pepsi every day. That's the reason why they are hot typing Pepsi. No, the correct answer is Fanta. I'm kidding. It's Pepsi. Next one, please. Someone already said this answer in the comment section. So let's see how good you are.
Yes. Gucci.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
You don't know. Who doesn't?
Okay, can we get this? Can we guess this? This is Google. Thank you. This is Google. The next one.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
all for participating.
Thank you very much for participating in this wonderful program. Hope you are relaxed now.
Yeah.
Hope you are at home, because I'm fully relaxed here. All right, moving on, we'd like to call on our convener to introduce our next.
So yes, I know a lot of you will be wondering what this game had to do with what we are here to do today. And to help us do that, we would like to introduce Mr. Daniel Adekomi to help us, shed more light on what this has to do with what we are here for today. Thank you all.
And over to you, sir, Mr. Adekomi Daniel.
Can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
everyone.
sir.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, I can't come on with my video because of where I am. I want to say I welcome everyone once again, and it's a real big pleasure to have everybody that are here with us, and I want us to know that we are all appreciated. The time is appreciated. So, we just witnessed, or we just took part in a game, and of course, they are popular brands and they are kind of global brands. Maybe not all. Some are maybe Nigerian brands and some are global. But a few things that we can note are the things I just want to highlight. Like, for example, or top on the list, we notice that all these brands are known for something. Some of them for cars, some of them for clothing, some of them for different things. And the same principle applies to our lives. Irrespective of whatever phase we are, there is something that people will know you for. And sometimes, like the convener said, sometimes the art changes depending on the phase of the life we have, depending on our season in life. But usually there is an underlying theme. There is a brand that our lives must carry. There is a message that our lives must carry. And that's kind of like the brand we are. A lot of people don't stand for anything. A lot of people don't differentiate themselves, but it's something that we have to consciously work on. What exactly do I stand for? Also, we'll notice that some of the brands are young, some of them are old, some of them over 3 decades, some of them over 50 decades, some of them are just less than 10 years. Irrespective, and that still emphasizes the fact that there are seasons. There are people are going to be coming up on the stage. People are going to be coming up into the scene. Some people will still come after others. Some people have not yet emerged. So there is still a space for us to differentiate ourselves. Everybody can differentiate themselves. Everybody can have their space. And that's, of course, like we've always heard, prevents us from envying others. If there's a reason for you to envy other people, for you to begin to compete unnecessarily, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get better, but to compete unnecessarily, that means that you have not yet differentiated yourself or found what makes you unique. And just to wrap up so that I don't take too much of your time is, I was reading something yesterday or 2 days ago, and it's from Steve Barrett. Um, he started the podcast Diary of a CEO. He started it, I think, in 2019. And then the number of viewers, I can't remember the exact number now, but definitely less than within a year, I think definitely less than, let's just say like less than 10,000. And come to today, which is like 2019 to this is 2005, that's 6 years after, is having up to 2 point something million views per video. Let's assume per video. He was stressing the fact that he stuck with it while it was not yet known. And not just that, the second thing he said was if he was looking at the people that are popular then in podcast making or whatever it is called now, if he was focusing on them, he would not even have started. So, number one, don't be scared by whatever brands you see out there, by whatever people are on stage. Know your unique place. Focus on it, stick with it until it becomes known. And the last thing which I will wrap it up with, let's try to find out what makes us different. Differentiating yourself is what gives you strength. If we are just part of the crowd, it's like this. The easier you're able to be replaced, the less you are needed. So, what makes you different? What makes you needed? What makes you different is what makes you needed most of the time. And I hope we've been able to pick something, one or two things from everything I've said. And I know definitely the program is going to add more to it, what I've said, going to build on a lot of things, add more chips to the whole picture so that we have a full picture and robust picture. I want to appreciate everybody on the team. I want to appreciate the people listening once again. It's a really big pleasure. And I hope that we can get one or two things that will definitely help us to differentiate ourselves, give us the skill set to build our brand. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. I hand over to the team once again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, dear, for your inputs. Thank you, everybody, once again for being a part of what we're doing here. It's not too late to invite someone because we're about to have the very first session. That's the keynote for today. And as speaker, we had him last year. Last year, we had like two major things. We talked about treasures from the past and trip to the future. And Mr. Mayowa Fadare took us on the trip to the future last year. It's so a lot of people will not forget his story in a hurry because he shared his heart with us. So, sir, thank you so much for coming again this year. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. So please, we'd like to have your introduction video first from the media team. Thereafter, we'll hand over to you to lead us on this journey. Thank you very much, sir.
Ademayowa Fadare, widely known as the Lifeguard, is a life and purpose clarity coach, transformational mentor, and social entrepreneur. As the founder of the Purpose Hub and spearhead of the Lumina Initiative, he equips young people across Africa to discover purpose, embrace identity, and lead with integrity. A Tony Elumelu Foundation mentor and former GBG Ibadan Challenge champion, Ademayowa blends storytelling, prophetic insight, and practical wisdom to inspire clarity, overcome obstacles, and ignite intentional living. His work bridges purpose, performance, and leadership development globally. Ademayowa will be speaking at PopCon. You sure don't want to miss it.
All right, thank you very much. Mic check. I want to be sure you can hear me. Can I be heard, please? I want to be sure. Okay.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get right into it. I know someone wants to see my real face. All right, so this is my real face. Good morning, everyone. Yes, this is Ademayowa Fadare. I'd like to say a big thank you to Mrs. Adekomi for the privilege of coming on board. I think that I'd like to see the clapping emoji in the live chat to celebrate her for what she's doing. It's an amazing feat, I must tell you. And for someone to host conferences like this yearly, consistently, that gives us an insight into the heart that she has to equipping and helping minds grow, thrive, and walk in their God-given identities. So thank you so, so much. Yes, last year was a fantastic time. But this year, we're going to be looking at capacity building from a different perspective. And if you know me very well, we're going to be starting from the perspective of storytelling. I love stories a lot. And I believe that stories help drive narrative faster, quicker. They help a lot in ensuring that you are able to communicate so many thoughts that you may have in very limited time. Now, last year I shared the story of the farmer. This year, I'll be sharing the story of the farmer's son. So once upon a time, there was a boy in a village, not too far away, but still on this African continent. And please, I want you to believe me when I say that the stories I've been sharing are real life experiences. Now, his father was a farmer, diligent, productive, committed to growing crops, to nurturing, and so something happened. There was drought in the land. And when I say drought, there was no water, and naturally it impacted on the growth of the farmland. It was a serious matter. But let's pause a little bit. Let's talk about the heart of this father who was a farmer. He made become farmers like myself. I will send them to school. So he sent his son to school and he said, look, I want you to commit to learning all that you have to learn so that you can be better than me and you can improve. And that's the joy of parenting. I'm a parent myself. That's the joy of parenting. It is the fact that you want to see that you give your children a springboard to rise. All right. So follow me carefully. The drought hit. It impacted on the economy and there was recession. And so there was trouble. Crops were drying up. The ones that were planted were not growing. It became a community issue. It became a societal problem. Gradually, finances dried up. Couldn't keep his son in school, and the son had demonstrated, a capacity to making things work. He was a young boy of 14 years that would go to the junkyard and pick up scraps, put them together, create something, and repair things. So he had prospects. Unfortunately, he was facing death. Let's put it in that context. And literally in the society, there was death anyway. People were dying from hunger. Again, I need you to follow me carefully so you don't miss out on what I'm sharing, because this story is going to form the foundation and the yardstick of what I will build upon. Sadly, schools started closing down. Sadly, people started competing for grains. People were fighting themselves to do anything possible to just get food. It was a tough time. It was a very, very difficult time. But that was not all. There was a glimmer of hope. As everything was going on, the boy watched as the father would refuse to eat so that there would be enough food for he and his siblings. He watched as the father with so to just make things work. No amount of grains they got was working. There's little you can do in a land. And as all this was going on, he was watching, he was observing in pain. What can I do? How can I make things better? How can I make things work? In the midst of it, he saw that, sorry, yeah, bear with me. I'm trying to marshal everybody together. Just bear with me, please. Now, to be sure, is loud enough. The feedback here that is not showing. Can I see something in the live chat, please? Can I see something? I want to be sure that you can hear me. Bear with me. Bear with me. I want to be sure so I can adjust. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can I see something in the live chat, everyone? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah. So in the midst of this, follow my story. Follow my tone of voice because I'm communicating something. Now, in the midst of all this, there was a glimmer of hope. He saw one of his teachers riding a bicycle. As he was pedaling, the light, the headlamp on the bike would come on, right? As he was pedaling, it would come on. Working because there's no visible power source. How is it possible that the headlamp is coming on? And the teacher said, well, there's something called a dynamo, right? And was explaining the dynamics behind it. Says, so when this happens, it generates power and the headlamp comes on. And then there was a light bulb. Now, it was initially a depressing environment, but suddenly there was a glimmer of hope. There was energy. How many people can relate with that? Where something looks like a light comes up. And then the next thing he did, he hit the library. There were so many tattered books there. He was hungry. I need to find a way to make this work. I need to know how to get a dynamo. I need to know how to put things together. Now, his spirit was getting lifted. So from a hungry, desperate boy that had a mind, suddenly there was a glimmer and there was a light bulb moment. And so as he was searching through the library, he stumbled on a book titled Using Energy. And then he flipped and he got it. And he said, upstairs, you can make rain. It has not been raining God knows how long, and you're telling me you can make rain. Are you sure you are really fine? And then he spoke to his father. He said, I can make rain. I can make rain fall. I can make water come. It can work. And then the father said, okay, benefit of doubt, what do you need? And they said, well, one of the things I'm going to need is your bicycle. All right. Interesting, right? The father was so attached to that bicycle. You know, we all have that one thing that we love so much that we can't let go of. For some of you, it is your phones, right? If somebody says, can you give your phone away? You'll be like, are you kidding me? What am I going to use? For his father, it was the bicycle. Very precious bicycle that he loved to ride. The moment the father had bicycle, he said, okay, that's fine. When am I getting it back? He said, you're not going to get it back. I'll have to strip it for parts. I'll need the wheels. I'll need the spokes. The father was livid. Are you kidding me? This will never work. What do you mean? You want to turn my bicycle into a toy? I blame myself. It is because I did not train you in how to be hardworking. Starting from tomorrow morning, you're going to join me on this farm and we're going to work. You must understand what labor is. We're struggling. You're telling me that you want to use my bicycle to make a toy. He was heartbroken. But he knew. And that's what happens when you have capacity and you know you can do something. When you hit challenges, it does not faze you at all because you know. And the Bible says that a man's understanding causes his countenance to shine. You cannot fake capacity. When it is there, it is there. Well, he wasn't going to be deterred by what his father said, even though it shattered him, because everybody loves validation, right? And so he went to talk to some people. They tried to plead with the father. He still wasn't going to respond. And the deaths continued. I'll fast track. The reason for my story, bear with me, is because I want to bring something out. Remember, this is a 14-year-old boy in a village where there were limited resources. And all he had was scraps from a junkyard. Interestingly, he decided there's no problem. We're going to find a way. So he got to work, started making do with what we could find. And as he started, everybody started paying attention. They started saying that, okay, this guy is serious. And that's the beauty about it. Sometimes you don't have to wait for validation. Just get started. And so he started. And people started saying, okay, it looks like this guy means what he's saying. And then the father decided to give him the bicycle. He stripped it. The whole village joined in, started cutting down trees. And guess what? They made a windmill that uses wind to generate electricity, to generate power. And through that, he was able to pump water. I'm talking about the story of a boy named William Kamkambe. You may want to check it. It happened in Malawi. Today, William is a global phenomenon, speaks in TEDx conferences, and has been recognized. He got a scholarship to study at one of the Ivy League universities. He is a recognized voice today. Why? Because it was the boy who harnessed the wind. You may have heard of this story before. You may have even watched the movie. It's a true life story. That is the foundation on which I will build my session this morning. You see, everybody talks about capacity building. Everybody talks about, yes, when it comes to capacity building, you read books, you attend conferences, you attend seminars, you get mentors, and those things are good. But that is not how capacity building starts. Remember, it is capacity and building. And I love the theme for this conference that says mount up. Because before you look at that mounting up on wings, you remember it says there is a waiting. Because it says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. So before you mount, there's a waiting season. There's a forge. There's a making that you must go through. There's a season of intentionality that you must be able to navigate. I know that we are in a speed generation. We're in a microwave generation where we just want to rush. We want to skip from idea to branding. Branding is good, but I tell you, branding is an experience. And you don't just jump into experiences. It requires putting in the work. Even when I take people on branding, I tell them about the iceberg principle. That when you want to build a building, you see something like a green net covering the building, and you're like, well, what's this green net doing? It's called debris netting. That is because building is messy. Building is not easy. There are so many things involved. And when you are building, there are moments of isolation that are required. It can be lonely. And loneliness can sometimes be painful because it feels like nobody believes in you. That is what building looks like. And so it is after the construction is now done, that they remove the net, and then they now remove the roofing sheet that they used to make a temporary fence. And then you begin to say, oh, this is what they are doing. They do that season. One of the reasons why they cover with those aluminum roofing sheets is because they're trying to also cover the access points. Access points should not be visible to the public. They are the secret entrances. So you don't need to know that, this building has 5 entrances and 1 secret escape. I'm going somewhere, all right? Because we're using a funnel approach. So, and that is it. There's a covering. See, people do not need to know your secret. And you will notice that it is after people have blown, and then you start saying, what is your secret? Because in their waiting season, nobody saw them. They were just building. They were connecting. They were trials and error. Just like in a building, in construction. You're like, okay, don't put the pillar here. Put the pillar there. Can we elevate the windows a bit? There are different phases and levels when it comes to building. But hey, I've just talked about building. Let's still break it further. Because to build a building requires foundations, right? And before you can even lay a foundation, there is what is known as land selection. The land that you are building on is very important in the foundation that you lay. Scriptures makes us to understand that this treasure is in earthen vessels. What does that mean? When you say earthen vessels, you're talking about earth, we're talking about soil, we're talking about land. And when you really look at it in the context of scriptures, we are compared to earth, we're compared to buildings, we're compared to land. You hear things like we are God's planting, we are God's husbandry, we are God's building. So we are lands, and there are different types of lands. This is what informs capacity building. Let me tell you, not all knowledge is relevant for you. I know that they used to say things like, no knowledge is wasted. But I can assure you, knowledge can be wasted. Because there are certain knowledge that you don't need. That is the truth of the matter. So you need to know the kind of knowledge you need so that you don't waste time. The world we are in, there's so much to do that you cannot afford to waste your time. You need to build in principle. I'm sure that a lot of us have either passed through school or are in school. You studied a particular course. There are some courses that you had to take just because they wanted to just add to credits, not because it was relevant for your discipline. Some of you, that was the last time you wrote the exam was the last time you had anything to do with it. That's an example of what I'm saying. Knowledge can be relevant and knowledge can be relevant. What makes what you take in, you equip yourself with, relevant is how you are able to align it with your purpose. And it's largely dependent on the kind of soil you have. That is how in nature, regards to soil now. When you talk about swamp, if you build a building on a swampy land, it takes a lot of investment. You put so much into it, and it looks good. You feel and feel and feel. You leave it for a couple of months. You realize that what you are filled with that looked like it was elevated to a level. Suddenly, you realize that you keep feeling it's no longer going down. That's a swampy land. You keep feeling because of the nature of the land. You put so much investment. Maybe that is you. You feel like everything, all the effort you are putting in, nothing is showing. You have not blown yet. Calm down. That's your type of land. Stop comparing yourself with a loamy land. And before you know it, it has germinated. It has grown. It has sprung up. You see why comparison kills. So you may have attended the same conferences with somebody, and then the person is eating it, and you're applying the same principle. It's not working. And like, what is going on? It's your configuration. Created you that way, knew how we created you. Yours is to be secure in the kind of land that you have, can work with it, build with it. I hope you're following me. All right. Maybe you just know that you are hard. People used to complain that you are hard. I don't know why it's just difficult. It's difficult to persuade you. That's a rocky land. It must take a certain process of breaking. So God will take you through some hard situations, experiences that will break you. Sometimes it will be experiences that make us that way. Either we are skeptical, we are taking things in, but we are skeptical about applying them like a rocky land. It's okay. In your time, you will get to that point. In my area, I watched as two houses were being built. One was on swampy land, one was on normal. They were opposite each other. And I watched how the swampy land had started like a year before the other one. And the other one came up in like 3 months. I was like, wow, amazing how things happen. But you see, eventually, the house they were building on that other one too came up. Nobody was competing. Everybody in their own time. We are done when we are done. To really need granite for a loamy land because there's no water there. It's not soggy. But for a swampy land, you're going to need rocks to fill the land. You're going to need a lot more cement and concrete to fill it up to a point where you can now say, let me So, what does your own land look like? Think on it for a minute while we proceed. Then we'll move to the foundation laying stages. Now, foundation matters. We are building different things. And we are building different things. And that is why you can't compare to see what your friend is building is different from what you're building. Even if you are a twin, what Taiwo is building is different from what Kende is building. If you go to housing estates, even though the houses look similar, what is inside each house is different. So the same thing. If you are building a skyscraper, your foundation will be deeper than someone that is building a bungalow. A skyscraper may need at least 5-story building worth of foundation laying. And people will wonder, what is this person? This person is just pumping money unnecessarily. People that don't have understanding will wonder why it is like that. Only people with understanding will know that, that foundation needs to be deep because it has to carry the weight. Maybe yours, it looks like there's delay. You are growing older and it looks like nothing is happening. Your foundation is that I'm going to join yourself with mentors. In fact, your foundation determines to a large degree the kind of associations that you have. And that's why for some reason you realize that maybe for you, some of your friends just decide to leave you. Some of your friends just decide to abandon you. Don't be heartbroken. That your girlfriend that left you, don't worry, it's fine. We are building different things. We're running different races. I once had a relationship. I was in that relationship for 5 years. We thought we were going to get married. And then one day she served me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She means breakfast that people are eating now. I took the 3. It was tough. I landed in the hospital. It was serious. I thought that, God, I'm done. Investment. But the truth was the fact that, man, we were building different things. She could not journey with me to where I was headed. Today, I am very grateful because I'm married now. I have 2 children. I'm very grateful. I look at my wife. I still told her sometimes last week. I said, interestingly, I still don't know why I was feeling like I would never get a better person than that my ex. So that you beat her hands down. That's what happened. Why? Who understood? Because we shared the same interest and we were building the same thing. So naturally, how you build is a great selector of the kind of relationships you will have. It's a great selector of the kind of jobs or work that you will have. So that's why you should not stress yourself. It takes the more perspective subject matter that, hey, I think my own process is taking this long because of the weight of responsibility that is on me. And that's how I want you to approach life. So it takes on a new meaning. Before you start the construction process. And that's why you must know what you want to do with your life and what God is calling you to do. You will have an idea, right? This is not, I know that maybe the Pop Academy, the Pop Academy would do more in helping you figure it out. You must have a vision. It is the vision that determines how you build. Now for me, I'd always known that I was going to have 1 foot in faith and 1 foot in the profession. I'd always known that I was going to bring faith dynamics into practical application such that professionally there will be relevance. Now today, to the glory of God. I am a voice in our circles. Why? Because I had an understanding. I didn't have all the specifics, but I had an idea of where I was going to. You're going to understand that when it comes to purpose, you may not always have all the specifics. In some rare situations, God gives people specifics. Of course, there's a science to how you can figure out your specifics too. I have a whole workbook outline for that. But what I'm trying to say is this. It helps you know how to build. So I understood that there was a need for me to equip myself. I had a desire to be a polymath. And for the people that don't know what that means, and I knew that being a polymath was going to help me with what I wanted to do with my life and what I felt that God was calling me to become. A polymath is someone that has a vast range of information, knowledge on so many things. So you're essentially like a jack of all trades, master of all. Not in. So how did I start? How to write, career development, business and entrepreneurship. I started reading up on those things. I started reading. I was consuming so much. I was reading as much as 150 books per year. I think there was a year I did 204.5. When I say 204.5, I'd read 204 book. I was on my 205th book. I didn't finish it until the year ended. To read. And for those of you that find it difficult to read, it's because you're not reading books in the area of your interest. When it is in the area of your interest, I can assure you, you will enjoy it. So when people wonder, how are you able to consume such information? It's interested in something, you are hungry about it, and you know what hunger means. You will consume as much as you can. And that was what I was doing. I was consuming as much as I could. I was reading and reading, even while I was in the university. Now, I told you my story last year. I'm not sure if I gave specifics. Yeah, I think I did. I told you my story, how I was in the university. 9 years. I didn't come out with a degree. I failed out. But what saved me was the fact that all through those 9 years, I was building and equipping myself. Now, because I had an idea of what I wanted to do, I was selective about the things that I was listening to and about the speakers that I needed to follow. There are some that I had followed from that time up until now. I still follow them. Some of those speakers grew, and so I grew with them as well. I've been privileged to be in some of their inner circles as well. So I was able to even learn more. You're seeing how capacity building is like. It is methodical. It's not just about doing things at random. It is focused. You are zoning in. And that's the essence of waiting. Let me give you an example of what waiting experience looks like. It's like being invited for an interview and you're in the waiting room. There's a purpose to being in the waiting room. You're waiting to be called on for that interview. What are you doing in the waiting room? Preparing and equipping yourself for the interview you're about to have. You're not thinking about going outside to go and play ball. You're not thinking about going somewhere else to go and eat. You see, that waiting room is specific for the purpose that brought you there. And that's why to mount up with wings, you have to wait. And that waiting is purpose-centric. Waiting is building capacity. Waiting is equipping yourself. So, I was reading books. I was volunteering with organizations. I wasn't just volunteering for volunteering's sake. I've done 2 decades of volunteering, for your information. And when I say volunteering, you should know that I wasn't getting paid, at least not in the monetary value that everybody wants right now, because it's not. But I was getting paid in another way. I was getting paid in experience. I was getting paid in skill. And I was developing expertise. I was being entrusted with leadership. I was getting paid with networks that helped me. So as much as I was hungry, and there were times that I could not afford a pair of trousers. I remember I had a pair of suits for 6 years because I couldn't afford to get one. And even when the money came to get clothes, I had to invest it into equipping myself. Should I shock you? When I got married and I was bringing my things in, and my wife came into the house, what she saw was that she saw a lot of books. And the first thing she said is, "You don't have clothes?" I thought when we were cutting, it was by choice that you didn't really want to wear anything. You don't have it. You have books. Yes, books upon books. I had 3 terabytes of hard drives worth of books. I'm giving you an example. It didn't stop there. When some little money was coming in, I was paying for Udemy certifications because that was what I could afford at the time. I couldn't afford courses that could help me, courses of 50,000, 100,000, 250,000. I couldn't afford it, 500,000. I couldn't afford it. But at my level, what I could afford, I started with. Start where you are. You may not be able to afford to buy books, borrow. I remember I had some people that had books, borrow me your book. Some will say, please, you must return it in 3 days. And I will do everything possible to ensure that I finished that book because it wasn't mine. And I had to return it. Start from there. Start from what you have. You know the interesting thing? Life is easier now. You have ChatGPT. It can help you with research. Of course, you still have to find your way around it so that you don't get contrary information from ChatGPT as well. But it makes it easier than going on Google because it helps with focused research and it helps guide. It can recommend YouTube channels for you. It can recommend books for you. You have it easier than we had it. This is how to start equipping yourself. So you know the kind of land that you have. You know how you think. So begin to build yourself in that line. This is who I am. I will focus on my individuality. And I'll begin to work on it. I'll begin to increase in value. Stop looking to blow early. To sound remaistic. To get they fizzled out. Some of them are stuck in jobs that they don't like. Some of them come to me to coach them. We started together. This is how life is. So there are principles to building. You don't just wake up one day and just say, this is how I think it should be done. My time is fast spent and I'll be wrapping up right now. Build methodically. Find a way to equip what is here. Refine it. But this is the thing. Don't just read. Practice. Because you cannot build capacity without putting it to use. How do you know what works? And how do you know what doesn't? So you will attend seminars. They will teach you things. You will read books. You will learn things. You will take courses. You will learn things. But to what end? What are you using it for? And that's one of the challenges I have with people. People will consume and they will not do anything. So you have knowledge. It makes you pompous, but you've not handled the knowledge. So you cannot trust the knowledge that you have. And that's why a lot of people have imposter syndrome. More trusted in different fields. There's hardly anything I cannot talk about. Marketing, branding, purpose, career, human resources, management, just name it. There's hardly anything I can talk about. Because I understood that in the circles that I was going to travel in, I was going to need that to be able to influence them. It's one of the challenges of being multi-talented. There are struggles, but we won't go into that. But I hope you are with me. I have to keep this brief so that you can understand it's methodical and there's a how to do it. And that's why I had to share it from this context. Identify your land. Know the kind of building that you are building. And so you know the kind of materials that you need. You don't need everything. It's not all the conferences that you should attend. The first thing that introduced me to the limelight in Ibadan was the GBG challenge in Ibadan. And so I just attended because I felt that it was critical. I had listened to some of the speakers, and then they gave us a business challenge. And then I came first. I put it to use. And that helped me. And you know the interesting thing? That was how I started business. So I started from using Google's tools, training people. And that was how it started. I remember the days of Google My Business. And I was helping people, teaching them, put your business on the map. We did map making. We did so many things. That was how I started. And then I started attending branding classes. I understood the principles of branding. I started helping people as well. Have a whole company that caters for that. But that was not even the core. Those were just streams. My core was helping people discover their purpose. You know my story, right? And I've told you. What if I was not equipping my So I went to one of the topmost public speakers in Nigeria, and I said, please, I'd like to volunteer with you. I was not getting paid, and I was serving, and I was learning. And as I was learning, I was growing networks. It took a liking to me. Started showing me some industry secrets. Started showing me, is that not capacity? Finally, as I wrap up, I've talked about the place of intellectual exercise of your faculties by equipping yourself. I've talked about hands-on lokoshe, that is, go and learn a trade. Apprenticeship helps. It's hands-on approach. That's why I love the people in the East. And that's why they are good at what they do, because they take their time to learn it. I've talked about hands-on approach. I've talked about having mentors that are in line with your field because they can help you, and service. The last part that I must talk about as a wrap-up is the spiritual equipment. I pray a lot. When I talk in professional circles, I don't look like a prayer person. But personally, I pray a lot. I travel a lot. I labor so much in prayer, and I'm a student of scriptures. Much of the things I share are from scriptures. In fact, I can tell you that about 95%, the remaining 5% are the things I've learned from industry experts who also pick those things from scriptures. But you will never know unless maybe you are used to scriptures that you know that this is from the Bible. Because I'm a Christian. Because I understand that there's a certain level you get to when you get to the top, that a force must drive you. A spirit must drive you. That's when you understand that this world is spiritual. Because you get to a point where certain principles will not work. It is the force of the capacity that you have built in your spirit that will sustain you. And I can assure you, it's one of the things that have helped me. You walk into some rooms, they present a problem, and you are thinking, how am I going to solve this problem? Experts have not been able to solve it. And then you are there. And then instantly, you hit a light bulb moment, and you know that this is the Holy Spirit whispering how to do it. It could just be a scripture that comes in, and then it just opens it up. And then you saw people like, wow, we didn't see it this way. How were you able to do that? And then you just smile. And then when people mean it, you are even able to introduce them to Christ. Talk about fulfilling purpose. What else is there if not to help expand the kingdom of God? Are you getting me? So everything that you do without a spiritual foundation is like pouring water in a basket. Because the spirit of a man will sustain him in the days of infirmity. There are days of down times. but it is the capacity you have built in the spirit that keeps you going. There are times that even when you are building capacity, you are serving people, you are reading, you feel discouraged. But what you have built in the spirit keeps you going. It keeps strengthening you. People ask you, how are you able to endure challenges? Say, I don't know myself. I just know that it is God that is carrying me. That is what it means. Please think deeply about it. Building capacity is not random. Before mounting up, there is a waiting. You must, in fact, if you check the verse before that, it says it gives power to the faint. It is building power. It is building tenacity. It is equipping yourself. As a laying stages. Build right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayowa, for that heart, that delivery. It's so loaded. It's so loaded. It's so loaded. Thank you so much, sir. You went from the fact that you should know the kind of land that you are, and the fact that building is not random. It is methodical. Okay, so I also don't want us to make the mistake of, that speaker said a lot. I heard many, many things. Guys, please go to the chat room. What did you hear? Out of all of the things that have been said, even if it is one line, I mean, that is where it begins. There has to be something that you will hear that you begin to practice and trade with, So, he said you don't need 1 billion things. You don't need to know 1 billion things. But you need to know the right things to move you from where you are to where you ought to be. So guys, please go to the chat room. I like to see, I like to hear, I like to get feedback from you. What is it that he said that you're going to be taking from this conference? Okay, so I'm seeing the fact that, someone says, waiting is building capacity. Absolutely. So that you are not on the stage does not mean you're not building capacity. That you're not on poster, does not mean you're not building capacity. And someone says, the top is for the strong. The top is for the strong. I mentioned earlier that one of the dimensions of capacity is being able to withstand. If you get there and the wind of this world blows, do you really have what it takes to stand? And I take one more. It says, you don't need every training. You don't need every training. Yes, it sounds nice to say, know everything about something. But in reality, it's not really let's just leave it there. It's not really everything that you need. You need to know the kind of things that you need. Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful session. And we're prepping for the next session. And our next speaker is Madam Toyin. I met her randomly in 2018. I just walked into the cafeteria. She was a year ahead of me then in school. And we just got talking. And as we talked, I just knew this woman is wise. I'm talking 2018, yes. Was it 2018 or 2017? I can't recall now. Yeah, then in Ibadan, I was a student and she was in her second year and we just met. And of course, I like to organize programs. So that time, when my birthday was approaching, I invited her, please come and speak to women on the fact that can they have it all. And trust me, the things we still talked about in that meeting, I still remember that. You don't, a woman can have it all if her all is the all that God defines for her, not the one that social media or the world defines for her. So she has been a very wonderful person since way back. And I came across her works again last year, and it has been nothing short of good. In fact, whatever you're seeing today in Purpose Conference was also birthed from my recent interaction with her in her mentoring and in her coaching, in a mentoring and coaching. So guys, if you love me, please love this woman with me. Go to the chat room, give her a nice welcome, thumbs up, love, whatever it is, please react in the chat room. And let's just say welcome to Madam T. Ma will have your introduction video first before you start. Thank you so much. Over to you, media.
Oluwatoyin Ajilore Chukwemeka is a multi-potentialite contributing her genius through education research, policy advocacy, social impact, and capacity development to empower individuals and institutions towards their highest potential. A PhD scholar at Tufts University, she founded One Foundation and has received multiple fellowships, shaping thought leadership, education policy, and social entrepreneurship across Africa. Oluwatoyin is truly a blessing in this generation. Look forward to hearing from her.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Okay, I'm seeing the thumbs up, so I'm thinking that means you can hear. Oh, thank you. I wasn't so sure. I'm really conscious. I'm hoping that I don't have any network issues today. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us in the world. My name is Oluwatoyin Ajilore Chukwemeka, and it's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, my dear sister, for inviting me to this program. Honestly, as you were speaking, I was trying to remember what session you were talking about. It's funny that I cannot remember it. I think I remember us meeting, but the part of inviting me to a meeting, I'm like, really, what? As in, it was so funny to me because I honestly cannot remember. And I would probably like to hear more about that. Hopefully myself and you can talk a little bit more about that, because I'm surprised that I've been doing this for some time. Okay, thank you so much, and well done on this amazing work that you're doing. I think it's such a blessing to have spaces like this where we can, gather to have like heart-to-heart talk on how to grow capacity, how to ensure that we are moving in the direction that we are supposed to be moving in. We are being faithful to our unique journeys, our unique call, the way God has called us, the way He has equipped us, and things like that. Okay. Someone is talking about my volume, but I think I know why that might be that. Give me a minute. Any chance you can hear me a little bit better now? Is my volume better now? Okay, thank you. I had something. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I had a fan blowing here before. I think that's probably why my voice was not too loud over it, because I'm actually speaking at my highest programmatic voice right now. Okay, I'm speaking about a very interesting topic that it occurred to me when I was preparing for it, that I have actually never spoken about this outside of circles that I created myself. Yeah. like I was thinking about it, that this is not a session, this is not a topic I've spoken about by an invitation before. I speak about it with in my own circles, maybe not necessarily with the same name, but I speak about issues around it in circles of the people that I work with friends, with proteges and all of that. But to be invited to speak about it was an interesting thing for me. And for me, it was even it's a wonderful thing to have conversations like this here. Because I was in for the last speaker session. Thank you so much, sir, for all of the things that you've shared. And I find it really amazing that you read over 200 books. As someone who is also who loves to read, I think that is really impressive. And what I really wanted to say, why I was referring to the last session, was because I feel like when we have conversations about the past, to only speak about it from the perspective of from certain perspective and ignore certain perspective. Do you understand? We talk about it from the perspective of faith, and we talk about it from the perspective of professional growth and all of that. But you don't see a lot of conversations about it from the perspective of emotional intelligence, emotional agility. And that's why I think this conversation is really, really, really crucial. I remember I was asking convener, and I was asking her if she wanted me to do a PowerPoint or not. And she was like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Initially, I thought I was not going to do it. But because it sort of helps me. I like images. I learn a lot. I'm a visual learner myself. So I like to cater to put that into consciousness that there are people like that who need to do more than hearing, but to also see certain things as they are learning, and sort of reinforce it. As you are hearing, you're also seeing certain things. So I'm going to be using a very short PowerPoint. And when the PowerPoint really just includes, you see what I'm saying when I share it, it just includes bullet points, like one word, one line, that kind of thing. The most important thing I want to share are in my heart, not necessarily on the PowerPoint, but the PowerPoint is sort of like a guide. And also because there's something that I wanted to share at the end that led me to do it. It was one of the main reasons why I did the PowerPoint. You see what I mean? So I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. And please confirm if you can hear me. And also, I'm going to need the organizers to let me know when I need to end. Would you please let me know that, please? So I can keep that in mind and proceed. If you could send me a private message here on Zoom, so I'm able to have a sense of when I'm supposed to. And I would really appreciate that. Okay, can you see my screen? Thank you. Thank you, Uchumwa. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'm speaking on emotional agility. Like you already know, my name is Oluwatoyin Ajiroye. Okay, it was still the message. Thank you, Kemi. So I'm speaking on emotional agility. Someone is already writing on my screen. Can you please not write on my screen? Thank you so much. Thank you for removing that. Okay. I'm speaking on emotional agility, and I am a teacher, and when I say that, I don't just mean that from this kind of session. I mean that even professionally. And so one of the things that I love to do is whatever you want to teach people, they know something about it already. Sharing together what we know, and also sort of deepening together. The perspective you're going to share with me are going to deepen the things I'm thinking. The perspective I'm going to share with you are going to deepen the things you're thinking. So let's start together. When you hear the word emotional agility, what comes to your mind? What do you think we're talking about? Please use the chat. I think that's the best way to do this, instead of just agility. What comes to your mind? And even if you just talk about, thank you for seeing the flowers. Yes, I thought they were beautiful too. When you talk about emotional agility, even the word agility, anyone you want to talk about, emotional agility or agility itself, what comes to your mind? What maybe one word comes to your mind? Abimbola, please don't write on my screen. Thank you. What word comes to your mind? What sentence comes to your mind? What synonym comes to your mind? What definition comes to your mind? I'm going to be waiting for that in the chat. I'm looking into the chat already, because I know you know something about this. This is something that if you're stability and strength. Ijoma says stability, and Oluwakotelope says stability and strength, being able to be stable, okay, and strength. I'm still looking into it. What does agility mean to you? What does emotional ability? Strength. Kende says strength. Thank you, Kende. I think I want to have like one or two more. Okay. Agility is state of being agile. I like this person. This person is doing that thing that we used to do where we don't want to answer, but we want to answer. You see, this is ability our mood. I think she probably meant mood. He or she meant mood. Ability to manage our mood. Okay, so in all of these things, there seem to be, if I'm putting some of these things together, there seems to be an idea that emotional agility is this thing about, yeah, let me use the word we're using, strength, stamina, capacity, management, having things under control. Technically, having our emotions. Oh, someone say curiosity. Amazing. You know, basically being, I don't want to say being in charge of our emotions, because I even looking at what agility itself means, and then we then relate it to what then would that mean if we're talking about emotional agility. So there are two things that when I was, I wanted to not just define it from my own mind, but also define it, by I actually defined it in two ways, because agility is also a word in physics that really does have a meaning. So I wanted to define it both in emotionally aware. Thank you, Abimbola. I just want to remind my host again that I'm going to need a message about when it's supposed to end, because I know that the timing changed a bit. Okay, back to what I was saying about agility. So I wanted to define it, the basic English academic definition, and I have a reason. Please just follow along with me. So if you see many of English definition, they will talk about how agility itself is the ability to move quickly and easily. So for example, we use that word a lot when we are talking about, say, older people who are still able to carry themselves properly. You say, that old woman is so agile. I knew my mom used that word a lot. She loves that word, like, oh, agile. My mom, she's a septuagenarian, so you can understand what I mean. The ability to move quickly and easily, to be able to at least move in the direction that you want to move as quickly, as easily as possible. You still have control over your mom. To academic one, I even put that's how you know I'm a researcher. I even put the quote of the people who actually defined it this way. Movement in response to an external stimulus. And when I saw this, it made so much sense to me. Oh, thank you so much. I just saw that you sent me a message here. Thank you. I've paid attention to that. Thank you so much. I wanted to use this particular definition, particularly the keywords in there, because I think they are very important for us to understand what this, when it this movement that comes with a change of direction in response to a stimuli. So agile means if I choke you something, you can quickly carry your face away, right? I put something here and you quickly move. Agile means a body that is moving can change direction or do you understand, or move in his own preferred direction in response to an external stimulus. There are 3 keywords that I want to prepare. Can you move? And the movement is not just speed, but also directional in response to a stimuli. So when we, up until this point, I just saw myself raising my hand, which was not intentional. I think it's because I did. Thank you. Responsive audience. Thank you. So agility is really about you are able to move. That then to emotional agility. What then are we talking about? We're talking about your emotions being able to move. We are sort of putting it around your emotional life, or whatever word I can use for that. Being able to move in terms of quickly and in terms of change of direction in response to a stimuli. Now, it goes downward from there. How many of us have had that happen to us? Yeah. You can relate with that. Let me see you say yes. If that's happened to you a number of times, so if something happened and then it literally just changed everything. You were bubbly, you were going, you were, let's do this, and somebody said something, or something happened, or in some situation, your laptop stopped working all of a sudden, or someone said something, or do you understand? Now, if we bring it back to emotional agility, the stimuli in this situation is whatever happened, right? And whatever happened usually comes to change something. You were excited before, you became annoyed. You were enthusiastic before, you became lethargic. You were feeling as if I can do this, and someone said something that chipped at your confidence, and you get fidgety. You wanted to present something, you were so excited about your idea, a boss just mistakenly, not even mistakenly, intentionally or something, dismissed it, and then from that point, you started stuttering. And you could not say what you wanted to say again, because all of a sudden your confidence is just sense of knowing what you have a sense of authority, what you are. So the question is, what is emotional agility in that context? Emotional agility is really our ability to go in our preferred direction, to move in our preferred direction, even in response to stimuli. Here's what I mean. Because there's a way you can think that emotional agility means the stimuli came, you were going this way before. You were going right, and then the stimuli came and shifted you to the left, and then you continue like that. No, that's not agility. The idea is that you can change direction. Remember we're talking about agility. You can change direction back to where you wanted to go. Happy to envious or whatever, but that ability to change to your own preferred direction is what we're talking about here. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of, yeah, that's what I'm going to use, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of, yeah, that's what I'm going to use, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our lives would be if we can actually keep a strong control, a strong sense of control on our preferred direction. Imagine how wonderful our on reactions, our emotional reactions, that part that is inside of us that eventually influences our actions. That's exactly what we're trying to talk about today, is how do we do that? But before we start talking about that, we need to first of all establish why this is important. Because if you don't know why it is important, it will just be another nice thing. It will be another nice thing. Why is it, instead of just saying why it's important, let me ask you as a person. I imagine that if I ask how many people would like to have a stronger sense of control on their emotions, stronger sense of, balance. Some of those words we're using the other time: stability, emotional stability, strength, ability to take things and not just be thrown helter-skelter by things in your environment, by whatever happens and all of that. How many of us want to be like that? I'm sure all of us will say yes. But the question is, why is it important to you? I would actually like to hear from a couple of people before, because if I share why it's important, I'll be sharing it from my own perspective alone, and I don't want us to only learn from me. I have the reasons why emotional stability is very, very important, and I'll share a few of them. But for you as a person, have you thought about it before? Because if you don't know why it is important, you will not have a reason to pursue it. Because the truth is that it's hard. So you have to have something that makes you pursue this kind of stability. Why will it be important for you to have a stronger sense, to be agile concerning your emotion, to be able to keep yourself under check, to be able to put yourself in a place where you have a stronger sense of stability, no matter what the world throws at you? Why is it important to you? I'm looking into the chart. Why would that be important to you? I'm waiting for responses. And Oluwapo said to do what exactly I want to do. I love that. So you can't, you will always falter on your goals, your targets, if you don't have emotional agility, because life will not always go the way you plan them to go. You don't have control over so many things. Ayomi says, Abimbola says to make the right decision. Exactly. Because emotions can cloud our decisions, and we can make wrong decisions at the wrong time because something has changed our perspective. We need to be able to pull our perspective back to a place we want it to be able to make decisions from. Thank you for saying that. Ijoma says to realign your purpose, to realign to your purpose in life. Thank you so much. I hope that I can have more responses, but while I'm waiting for that, for me, honestly, initially, and when I say initially, I would say maybe earlier in my life, part of the reasons why emotional stability was important to me was because I was such an empath. So things got to me easily, and it just puts me in a very funny state. It was just because I didn't like those funny states. And I just wanted, my biggest reason was that I don't like to be in this kind of state, and that's it. But with time, I began to realize that this is not even just about, oh, you are sad. It's deeper than that. Is that this thing have real implications on your perspectives, on your priorities, on your capacity to be who you want to be, to do what you want to do, and even on your view of life. Have you met people who are genuinely, like, staying in their presence can make you depressed because they have such a gloomy view of life that no matter what you try to say to them, they will always find something wrong with it? Have you met people like that? That kind of thing does not happen in the day. Over the years, things happen around them that brought them to that place that literally turned their entire perspective of how to see life, changed their lens in a whole different direction. And your lens determines how you engage with life. If you think that if your lens is the lens of abundance, that there's a lot for you in the world, there's things that things will always work for you, you will pursue things. But if you already come from the lens where, these things are for some people, it's not for some people, and those kind of things, it will influence the way you do your actions. So the emotional agility is want to pursue. He has bigger. Thank you so much, Kenny. I'm seeing what you shared. He said life is full of up and down, from situation and from people. And if one is not emotional, one can give up. Exactly. There are bigger implications. There are purpose implications, like you have been saying. There's implication on even just your own mental health. Because if you want to go around getting annoyed with everything, you will have a lot of reason to be annoyed every day. You will be annoyed every single minute. There's just a lot that is at stake. Your perspective towards life, your ability to enjoy the world around you, your ability to pursue things and not be distracted, not give up. All of these things are connected to having an healthy ability to move in the direction, your preferred directions for your emotions. So when we're talking about emotional agility, we're talking about the ability, that agility of, like I said, the agility of your emotion. We're talking about self-regulation. The ability to move. I keep saying it this way. The way I keep saying it is the ability to move in your preferred direction. To be in a place where it is not situation that determines where you go. That it is not what happened in the day that determines how the day goes. Is that you make a choice that today will go good. I'm not naive to think that things will not happen, something will not be thrown at me, but as much as possible, my goal will be to ensure that I'm able to move in the direction of how I want my day to go, how I want my life to go, how I want my relationships to go. And you're going to need this in so many things. In marriage, you need all of this in relating with bosses, because you're going to deal with so many things in life. So there's self-regulation part of this, and there's resilience. I've been using this word resilience a lot because again and again, I'm realizing that resilience is probably how do I say this? It's one of probably the most important things that anyone in life needs. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to keep going in the preferred direction, regardless of what has happened, is to keep going despite all. So emotional agility is that ability to have a control over your emotions in a way that can sponsor resilience. So you have a tough boss, that you don't become broke. That's kind of thing we're talking about here. Become broken. How do you ensure that you can keep going? You can keep going. Was an important thing about, because I'm still going to talk about the how. I sort of came up with like an emotional agility code, some core things that if you keep in mind, it will strengthen your agility. And the word I'm using is strength, is that we all need to keep growing it. We are different levels of it. But whatever you have, wherever you are, is not the best that you can be. You cannot always grow, even if you think that in the sense of there's always a better place. But before I speak about the how and the code I was going to share, I thought to speak it. This is about the things that try to we're talking about being the ability to keep continuing in response to similar, right? So things that sort of try to pull you in the direction that you were not intended to go. Now, generally, there's a part of other people. One of the biggest lessons I had to learn painfully was the fact that the world is not utopian. If you know what utopia means, it means a perfect world where everything goes nicely and all of that. And I say painfully because I still am one of the people who really like to hope for the best. Do you understand? Very optimistic about everything. And over the years, there's a part of optimism, but there is naive optimism. There's a type of optimism that is naive, that thinks that things will go good because everything in the world is good. There's the optimism that is realistic, that hopes that things go good, not because it thinks everything in the world is good, but despite whatever happens. So over the years, I have had to transition, and it was a difficult transition, from naive optimism to realistic optimism. And what I'm talking about that here is one of the things that everyone has to come to reality with is that you are in a world with other people and their actions. Like, if you come to his action, you will be into agility. Because sometimes the thing that pushes us in the direction that we to go is that we keep setting expectations. You know, we have our own level of expectation of have control over how other people, that other people have choices. That's my point. It's even respect to know that other people have choices, and their choices can be a stimuli to try to change the direction of your emotions. We need to, first of all, the goal is to first of all even identify the stimuli before we now talk about what do we do about it. Is understand that every day you wake up, every day you go into the world, every day you deal with people. And I'm using other people because I'm generalizing it generally. It can be anything: a friend, a family member, someone outside, a bus conductor. I remember one of my friends, when we were in UI then, masters, and was so stressed for some reasons, as if they sent midnight drivers after her. Because every single time, one of them always does something that almost wants to tie in a rage bait. It was so bad that she said that every morning she started praying her prayer, and then the prayer that she was every morning. People can be stimuli. That's first. Your environment. Now, you will wonder what's the difference between environment and people, because sometimes you probably would have experienced it. Sometimes it didn't involve anybody. You were working, your laptop just stopped, and it was the day that your deadline is tomorrow that the laptop stopped. Has that ever happened to anybody? And you didn't do anything again. And there's you. And I think this is the one that we don't talk about a lot. When it comes to emotional agility and, you know, regulating your emotions and all of that, we usually only focus on how other people are stimuli, you know, as stimuli that try to put us in an unstable place. That we can relate to. I think people that wake up and do what is wrong with you already in a foul mood.
Recording in progress.
Took what they said beyond the level. The person that looked at you somehow and did not do, the way the person looked at me condescendingly, the person did not even realize you were there. You see, it's still sometimes it's us, but we don't like agreeing with this one. Sometimes it's you. It's just you. I remember I was having a conversation with someone recently, and she started, she was, I could tell that something went wrong. And I had to ask her. She didn't want to tell me at first. And then she told me something I said, something. And then I explained to her. And then it was then it dawned on her that what I said and what she understood were two completely different things. She had to hug me after. Thank God I forced her to actually explain to me what she thought I said. She was telling me that day that she would have left me and go and cry. You see what I'm trying to talk about? And I'm not even making that a bad example. These are things that happen with me. So it happened with my husband. Maybe he says something, and it's when we now spend 30 minutes explaining that thing to each other that I discovered that, oh my God, I completely misunderstood him. It was not him, it's me. It's you too. And you have to be aware. My goal here, first of all, is just understanding where the stimuli come from. Like, it can come from others, it can come from your environment, inanimate things, in fact. And it can come from you too. You have to understand that. So I have 10 more minutes. How do we then deal with this? Now that we have a sense of, the things that can, we have a sense of where we are going. Where we are going is emotional stability, which means ability to continue in that preferred direction. To continue to be the kind of person you want to be. You want to be an optimistic person. You want to ensure that, you are not carrying malice in your mind. Ensure that you are someone who, your mind is not too clouded that you cannot think. You don't, your capacity is clouded because maybe you are carrying offense and all of those kind of things. So we are going towards stability, towards strength, towards ability to regulate ourselves, towards ability to continue, like I keep using that word, continue in our preferred direction. You have a goal, you are continuing towards it, regardless of whatever anyone is doing around you, maybe to upset you, or the things that your environment is doing, or even the way your own mind is going. We've explained why we need to do that. The fact that it's important even for our own health is important for our own health. We have talked about how it's connected to purpose. You need a certain level of clarity of mind that if you are always thrown helter-skelter by everything that comes your way, you will not to do it. To your goals, to pursue your dreams, to just be a human being, and healthy human being. You just need that. So we talked about what we're trying to do. We talked about why. We talked about the most important things that always put us in those situations, which is the stimuli. Relating with other people, relating with our environment, and just relating with ourselves, our own interpretation, the lenses that we have developed that makes us interpret certain things a certain way. Someone said something, but you took it far beyond what they intended, and it became something that upsets you when they did not even intend that. The question is, how then do we put all of these things together? How do we pursue this agility? How do you become someone who can continue to strengthen and grow the ability to be emotionally regulated, to be in a place where it is not easy to shake them away from calmness, to be in a place where things don't rattle. The way my husband used to say it is that things don't rattle you easily. In fact, when I saw this topic in my head, I had to speak to my husband. I think you are a better person to talk about this than me, because you are still my oga when it comes to this. So please, anything I'm saying here, please take it as we are in this together. This is not someone trying to speak at you. This is someone looking at some of the, when I was thinking about this, I thought about some of the things that have helped me grow and the things I'm still holding on to continue to grow in this way. So this is something I'm working through myself. And to make it easy, I put it in a kind of code. And what I say by code is that agility, A-J-I-L-I-T. So I have 7 things that I put in a code. And the first one is about A is for awareness, G is for growth. I'll talk about each of them. I is for interface, L is for love, I is for interests, T is for time, and Y is you. So I'll talk about each of them. So let's talk about it. I called it the emotional agility code. This is my last slide. I called it the emotional agility code. The first one is awareness. And here, what I'm talking about is that you need to grow a sense of knowing yourself. You need to know the things that rattle you. It's serious. And you cannot take generic answers. Let me explain what I mean by generic answers. They used to say, let me give you an example. They used to say that in marriage, the man wants respect, the woman wants love. Have anybody heard that before? That, men, they are after respect, women just are after love. Anybody heard what I'm talking about before? Please confirm before I say what I want to say. Has anybody heard this before? Unless you have heard it, it might not make sense what I'm about to say, please. I'm looking into the chat for responses. Anybody have it? Thank you. I remember that every time I heard that thing, the thing used to be weird to me because I sort of, I agreed on a general level, but I felt like they didn't put into consideration the fact that there are certain uniqueness. Because for me, as a woman, respect is a big deal for me. Like, God knows, like if my spouse knows that one of the biggest things is I need you to communicate with me as someone who respects my opinion. It's very important. I don't know, I will not speak about any other person, but I know myself. I was raised in a family that protected my voice. I didn't even know that was what my parents were doing until when I got into the world, I discovered that they were saying things like, women don't do this. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I was raised to know my voice counted. So part of the things I know about myself that can easily rattle me is you lock me into spaces of people that want to try to denigrate my voice, make me feel as if I'm less of myself. No, we fight. Kind of things. I'm giving that an example of knowing yourself. And my point there is the fact that you need to a bit more unique understanding of the things that can put you in certain spaces. And when I say spaces, I mean emotionally. You know the things that get to you. Friendships that the friend keeps doing things that annoy them, not because the friend is a bad person, but because you have never had a conversation to let them know this thing you do annoy me. And you might think that they should know, but they don't because they annoy you, because for think that everybody should know that certain things are no. We are unique. The way we are unique, our fingerprint, sometimes it's the way certain things and our interpretation and the way it interacts with is different. So you need to know yourself. You need to know. And why do you need to know? Because sometimes you will need to communicate it to especially the closest people around you. Sometimes I've found that, especially in close relationships, like maybe marriage, sometimes part of the things that causes problem is that usually this actually happens to women more, if I'm being honest, is that we are sometimes unable to specifically explain what we prefer. You just know what the person is doing is annoying, but you cannot explain that this and this, the way you said this is how I interpreted it, and this is why I interpreted it this way. Don't say this like this to me again. It would have settled it. But even you yourself, you're not sure. You just know that every time something happens, you get annoyed. But why? What exactly about it annoys you? You need to know. So there's a part of awareness, of growing stronger and understanding of who you are. There's a part of adapting to the world, knowing that the world is not perfect. You are in a world with nice people, crazy people, people who are cautious, people who are disrespectful. You are in a world, for example, if you are someone who frequents Twitter, you have to adapt to the fact that Twitter is a very caustic place. So you cannot be saying you don't have thick skin and you want to be engaging a lot on. No, now. So adapt to the reality that this place is like this. So how do I want to navigate it? No, you are not trying to change the place. You are trying to know, have awareness of both yourself and the places and the situations that you are in. You married into a family where the in-law are difficult people. It is waste of time trying to change their difficulty. The question you should be asking yourself is, my mother-in-law is like this. How do I want to navigate that? My spouse siblings are like this. They don't see certain way. How do I want to? First of all, be aware. We need to start with that. Then there's a part of growth. And by growth here, I mean, I call it thicker skin and clearer sight. What I mean by that is that the more, and I'm sure you might have experienced it, like the more you also grow your capacity, you expose yourself to other things, other people, other cultures, and things like that, the more certain things doesn't get to you as much as it used to get to you anymore. And that's why growth here includes even things like exposing yourself, understanding other cultures. I remember when I was in 100 level, I had a roommate. Many of the things she used to do I'm not going to use the word annoying as if it was personal, but it used to just amaze me. Like, I just felt like she was not very cautious and all of that. Until I went to serve in Bayelsa for my NYC. I remember I used to say to people that NYC made me understand my 100 level roommate because she was from that area. And also I discovered that, oh my God, some of the things I was seeing and the way she was talking was actually because I was viewing it from a Yoruba lady's perspective. This was their own culture. So it's growth. Things that you think that are very annoying. It doesn't make that much difference again. In out of the country and all of that, opened my eyes to see that, oh, certain things are not as crazy as we think they are. It's because of certain things like that. There's a part of interface, what I'm calling using boundaries. Many of us expect people to know what to do with us. You don't understand. You expect them to know that they should not talk to you that way. You expect them to know that, no, you have to particularly mention it, put boundaries, let them know how to communicate with you. One of the things I keep learning again and again is that you have to teach people how to treat you, including the people that are closest to you. You have to put boundaries. Like, if you talk to, I don't take this kind of thing, and you can see it nicely. I feel like the problem is that many of us, depending on however you have grown, many of us think boundaries means that something is wrong with the person. No, it means you are protecting your own men. Put boundaries. And the boundaries sometimes is not even about putting boundaries. Sometimes it's putting between yourself and your environment. You cannot be going to Twitter at 8 a.m. in the morning and expect your day to go well. It's just the truth. You will see plenty things that will annoy you on Twitter. Of course, by 10 a.m., you already feel as if the day everything is annoying you that day. It is not anything. You expose yourself to negativity too early in the day. Put boundaries. Do you understand? There's a part of love. And what I'm saying here is living free, ensuring that you carry a heart that is free. That's the way I say it. My coach used to say it as my coach, my mentor too. Used to say that she keeps love as our operating system. Basically, the way I will say it to you, I'll ask that the question is, how differently will you interpret the actions of people if you come from the place that you love them and they love you? It will change so many things for you. There are certain things that someone you see around you that if you come from a perspective, it will be easy for you to let it go. It's a part of interest. This is a part of not being naive. Understanding that everybody in life have an interest. The way my mentor says is that people are not against you, they are just for themselves. So, in fact, I should probably recommend, I wrote a lot about this in my book, Driven. It's actually available for free. I think relationships. Understanding that people are not against you. They're not against you. They are just for themselves. When trying to protect, go against the interest you are trying to protest. So you need to know that it's not necessarily person against person, as if we have personal issues. It's interest against interest. This is the one thing that politicians know. And that's why they don't have permanent friends, they don't have permanent enemies. If you know what I'm talking about. I will not say more than that. Yeah, can anyone hear me? Apologies, I think my network went off for a minute. Could you please confirm if you can hear me? Am I back? Yes, thank you. Let me just put my thoughts and I'll be out of here. So talking about one of the other thing is time. Understanding that time just clarifies certain things to things that even angry. Why did that thing even bother me? Because you can see things better now. And for me, one of the things that have taught me is to keep things hanging in my mind, like not make conclusions yet. Someone said something, someone did something. As much as possible, let me not make conclusions yet, because by the time I sleep and wake up on it tomorrow morning, the way I see it might differ. So basically not making permanent conclusion from temporary things. And the last one is you. Like I was saying, you are not sliced bread. You need to understand that the world does not revolve around you. And so sometimes the reason we make everything pass through the lens of us. But sometimes the person that said that was not thinking about you when they said it. That thing that happened, it wasn't intended at you. People don't actually remember you the way you think they remember it. They are not putting you as the backdrop of everything they do. So you need to, with time, all of us need to learn how to step back and stop making everything that happen around us revolve around us by ourselves. Do you understand? I think I need to end here. I'm just going to take questions so much. I'm going to turn back to the host now.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. That was a very impactful session that we had with Mrs. Oluwatoyin Adilore Chukwuemeka. And so if you have any question, please, I would like you guys to drop the questions in the chat room. Communicate with Mrs. Toyin, your questions in the chat room. Yes. So while we are doing that, I would like to acknowledge the partners that we had for this year's Purpose Conference. So we have Edu Junction, number 1. They are a community of educational tech professionals, like people who are innovators, you know, people who work behind the scenes for like educational, you know, e-learning developers and stuff like that. And then we have the Tikva Foundation. They are a non-governmental organization that reaches out to orphans and the less privileged with love, essential supplies, and even scholarship opportunities. And the last but not the least is the Chosen Inspira Foundation. The Chosen Inspira Foundation. Okay, the Chosen Inspira Foundation is an NGO also that provides holistic support that fosters growth. They give reusable pads to people. They have they have digital skill trainings, and they sensitize people on menstrual health, HIV, and general sexual health. So I would like us to continue dropping our questions. I don't see any questions in the chat room. We're not engaging, guys. If we have questions, can we drop it in the chat room, please? Okay. If we don't have questions, we will move on. Okay. I would like to call Mrs. Ayodumomi to anchor the next session.
To also let you know that this conversation does not end here with her. If you want to further engage with her, engage with the team as well, please do well too. Thank you. They've not been hearing me. Okay, sorry. So I'll be sharing more on that in the course of the week. Thank you so much. We still have 2 things to do before we leave today. Number 1 is the panel session, which that's one of the most exciting parts of this event. At the same time, we're going to be announcing winners for the Purpose Story contest. So some people have already applied or sent their entries in. We have screened. We're going to be making the announcement today. So some people will, the selected people will enjoy 4 months mentoring, while the top 3 will also enjoy cash award. So all of that will be announced today. But before we get to that, we're going to be starting the panel session right away. We'll be talking about building capacity. We've been talking about, so I want to really drill into 3 main things, because I feel like these 3 areas are like the core of our lives: our faith, our finance, and our family. That's, if anything should be missing in your life, it shouldn't be any of these 3. These 3 have to just, come together if you're going to really make something meaningful out of your life. So we will be introducing our speakers, each of them, using the videos like we've done for the previous speaker. Then it will have each one of them share with us as we engage them. So please go to the chat room. This is time for you to ask your own questions. You've been hearing. Yeah, you've been hearing. So we also want to hear from you as we proceed. Media, please, let's have the first person. Thank you.
Wale Olajumoke is a seasoned technology and business leader with over a decade of experience empowering individuals and institutions through digital transformation, financial literacy, and capacity development. He is the founder and lead trainer at Tech 365, a fast-rising edtech company based in Lagos, Nigeria, which has trained over 5,000 professionals across Nigeria, the UK, USA, Canada, UAE, and Finland. Wale is certainly going to be a blessing at PopCon 25. Titi Adeyemo is a trained linguist and theater artist whose career beautifully fuses art, service, and leadership. She began with Fourth Man's Theatres Company International, a Christian theater outfit, before serving as a translator for the Slovakia ambassador to Nigeria. Her path has included a season in civil service with INEC and editorial work as the guiding pen behind Voice of Hapazo, a biannual magazine for Living Faith Foundation. Today, she runs Asha's Clothesline while skillfully managing her most cherished role, her husband and home. Titi is certainly a blessing. You would love to hear her speak. Femi Ndagana is a lead analyst in strategy and sustainability, where he champions purpose-driven transformation, policy development, and long-term impact initiatives. He is an accomplished electrical instrumentation and cost engineer, and a certified engineering economist and valuer, combining technical insight with visionary leadership. Beyond the pulpit and the project side, Femi is a devoted mentor, known for his listening ear, wise counsel, and heart for strengthening marriages. He is joyfully married to his wife, Vashti, a gospel music minister, and together they are raising 4 wonderful children. Femi is a transformational speaker. You would love to hear him speak.
Okay, we're starting off with the panelist on building capacity in faith. And I just found an amazing name for her during her last birthday. So our children call her Mommy Yo, and I seem to like her, and I seem to like that. So Mommy Yo, welcome today to the Purpose Conference 2025. Can we hear you so we can be sure that you are audible?
Hello everyone, glad to be here.
Okay, can you hear her? Okay. All right. Sorry, I have to carry multiple devices just to, follow. It's fine. Thank you so much for coming today. And she's someone that when you are speaking with her, when you are done talking, you know the way antivirus work? The way it just, catches anything that does not, that looks like a predator, So for her, when you are done talking, the next series of questions she will ask you, you'll be like, okay, maybe I made sense, but I probably did not make faith. So let's just have this interaction with her today. So Ma, my first question to you today will be, is there a relationship between faith and purpose? Is there a relationship between the two? Over to you, Ma.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Trust that we are having a fulfilling time on the mountaintop. The view is very, very refreshing. Talking about relationship between faith and purpose. We all came here knowing what our assignment on earth is going to be.
I can't hear anything. I need someone to give me a phone.
Okay, Sister Aya, I can hear you. Let me know when it's okay for me to go on. Okay, please. Oh, can you hear me now? Can everybody please hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. All right. So we're talking about the relationship between faith and purpose. And I said that we all came here to the earth, not really knowing what we were meant to do or what we were called part 4. But probably something happened that piqued your interest, maybe where you grew up, maybe a problem, maybe a challenge, and then you found a path in life. Now, because you really don't even know where you're going, you don't know what is going to happen in the next 10 years. You may try to, think, you may try to put together some things to give you the visual of the future. So how do you now move from where you are to where you desire to be without faith? How do you connect with the lines that have been falling before you were born? How do you enter into the stream that the generations have been drinking from? How do you make the impact you desire to make? Without faith, it is purely impossible. I think faith on its own can be seen as a stubborn adherence to an expectation, despite the odds against it. And every man has a measure of that, whether you're a Christian or you're not. So there's a very strong relationship between faith and purpose. Even those who don't know the Lord Jesus have faith inside them to be able to fulfill their purpose, because without faith, it is just impossible. We are in a world that you just grew up and you find yourself aware that things are happening around you. If society, even if it's an informal education, you see the way culture goes, and then you want to fit yourself into it. Without faith, it is really, really impossible. So, Sister Ayo, that's it.
Can we attend to this poll, so as to guide our interaction? What is that thing that challenges your faith the most? Please go ahead. I want to see the votes. Go ahead. I want to see the votes. Just choose so that I can see. The first answer here is digital distractions, compromises and pressure to fit in, prolonged season of waiting, inconsistency. Some people, I don't even understand this faith thing. You wake up, you want to read, but you end up on TikTok, and that is the end of whatever you want to read, that day. So let's do that in like 20 seconds. Let me get your feedback. Which of these things challenges your faith work? Is it the digital distraction, compromises, prolonged season of waiting, or inconsistency? I want more responses. Okay. Please, guys, let's attend to this. That's why we're here. Thank you. I see prolonged season of waiting and winning. Okay. Let's have more inputs. Okay, let's end the poll just to see. Okay, so the highest challenge here is prolonged season of waiting. You wait and wait and it looks as if this thing is not working. Okay, well, that's why we're here, to get answers. So, Ma, in your own life, how has your faith helped you to live out your purpose? How? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, that faith can be seen as a stubborn adherence to an expectation despite the odds against it. And the fact that every human being on earth has a measure of faith. For me, my purpose is my faith in God. Good enough, I needed faith in my environment. I needed faith in the system. And if you grew up back in the 80s during the military regime, there was literally not much hope of growing up in Nigeria. So we all needed faith to grow up, faith to believe that we will even live, not be killed in one of the riots, faith for us to get married. It's amazing. I look at myself and my children and I say, wow, I grew up in Nigeria and I have kids. It's really, really amazing. So there was a lot of faith, just going back in this environment. But the faith that helped me to fulfill my purpose, I'll put it in two ways. Faith in God, and faith in God is where I anchor all my dreams, visions, and expectations through prayers, true confessions. Then faith from God, because there are challenges I did not have faith for. There are things I faced that, okay, we were talking about faith. Some people said they don't even understand what faith is. Apart from the basic faith that we all have, that we used to live, you know, that took God himself instilling faith in me. If I could share a little, I remember there was this exam I was meant to write. It was like 300 level exams in the French village. And I had a kind of panic attack because it was going to be something that was new for me. And I was visibly shaking. Hall I was reading, and I heard a voice talking to me. The statement was repeated about 3 times before I became aware that someone was speaking to me. It was like the person was sitting right beside me. And what I heard was that, Titi, you know you cannot. And that boosted my faith. So for me, the faith that has helped me to really live up to my purpose can be seen in 2 ways. The faith that I have in God and the faith that I have from God. You know, God comes through to help me to be able to reach out for that purpose that I can see it, but it's beyond me. It's like the Bible says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So in instances like that, God comes up to even help us to raise up our faith. Yes, ma'am.
Honestly, I wish I could hear that kind of voices at times that will tell me, Ayo, you can do it. And that takes me to my next question. What practical steps, before you can hear a voice speaking to you, you must have grown a level of relationship over time. You know, so what steps did you take to grow your faith? And how have this evolved over seasons? You know, recall that the first speaker talked about knowing yourself. All of us are at different seasons of life. I mean, for me, for people listening to me, there are different seasons of life. And for you, you have also evolved across different seasons of life. So how did you practically, like, people want to know, like, how do I even grow? Someone said, I don't even understand this faith thing. How do you practically grow your faith? And how does this approach, you know, change as you evolve over seasons? Over to you, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just say basically that there can be no growth without service. Whether we're talking about growing faith, growing love, or growing any other thing, there can be no growth without service. Faith doesn't grow in vacuum. It grows in an environment of needs, uncertainties, denied or unmet expectations. So if you are in that season of life where your prayers have not been answered, like the chart was showing us, prolonged, you are in a place where your faith is actually growing if you pay attention to it. So let me say that for me, how my faith grew. First is the seed itself. The Bible says that faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. There is an American preacher back then, I think he's late now, Dr. Frederick Casey Price. And he used to have a Sunday program, Ever Increasing Faith. That was one of the places where the seed of faith was sown in my life. So listening to him, hearing the word of God, and also reading Christian books of faith. There is a book called Walking in Favor. Unfortunately, I can't remember the author. I've been trying to track it online. And then there's another series on praise by Merlin Carothers. He was in the U.S. Army, and those were books that I read. So drawing the seeds from the teachings, from messages from the Bible, they were the things that practically sowed the seed of faith in my life that helped me to be able to believe that anything and everything is possible with God. The next thing I'll talk about is the power of agreement. We're talking about practical ways to grow your faith. So first, get the seed of God's word into your life. You can get it directly by meditation on the Bible. You can get it by listening to what the messages of other people, particularly those that have to do with faith. You can even get it by listening to testimony. There is a series by Merlin Carothers on praise, from prison to praise, praise walks and others. They weren't really teaching about faith, but talking about how you can use thanking God for every situation to get the answers and the solutions that you desire. And those were things that boosted my faith. So when you study the Bible, you read Christian books, they make your faith to grow. Then the power of agreement. Now, I grew up in a home where we were blessed. Not extremely, but I could just say I still had my home bed space. had I had a room I was sharing with my sister. Fast forward to getting admission in University of Ibadan. I didn't even have a person to escort me. You know, you have those who have a regular bed space, then you would have they will have squatters, you know. I had better opportunities, but let me not bore you with that story. I had another friend who was a squatter who agreed to take me in as a floater. So that meant sharing the floor with her. And incidentally, along the line, this friend, her father lost his job. Like I said earlier, it was the military era. Things were hard. Businesses were closing down and all that. So the needs became bigger. And we had to pray for everything we needed. So, of course, what I had from my home was okay enough to take care of me. Not excessively, but it was okay. Now I had a friend who had taken me in, and there were needs that came upon us at that season. And that situation forced me to also grow my faith. Then service. Like I said, there can be no growth without service. Service during my undergraduate days also, I was recruited on, and this was a company that was running full performance on campus like every 3 months. We'll go outside also to minister to in churches and programs. And unlike this is that ministry, you know, Christian ministers will tell you their honorarium before they come for the event. They will give you the bill. Those days, you just go as you are called. So it was in that place that my faith began to grow more and more. In fact, my August mantra then was take, had faith to it. So maybe you will come up with a budget of this is what we're going to need for this performance. Whatever we have in the pulse, we'll just give it to you and say, take, had faith to it. There I experienced God coming through for his children on first hand. I learned to walk on water. Apart from service also, as part of the things that helps to grow our faith literally. And I think service is one of the things that we run away from. You know, you don't want to volunteer because you know a lot will be demanded from you. You don't want to be moved out of your comfort zone, but that is where your faith will grow. When you have more needs than you know your own provisions can cover. Consistent study of God's word, all prayers, all manner of prayers. Ephesians talks about that. And then service. Those are the practical ways that I was able to, that the Holy Spirit helped me to grow my faith over the years. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mommy. Please, if you have questions, use the chat room. I like to take 1 or 2 from the audience. And well, I like to connect things. I love patterns. If you recall, the first speaker said a lot about volunteering. Some people have read lots of books, but you just need a place to test this thing that you're learning. And she also mentioned the fact that it was also while she was volunteering that she realized that she found herself in positions where her faith was challenged and it had to grow. So situations that will interpret as, I am suffering. Oh, nothing is happening. Oh, I'm in a season of delay. This prolonged waiting is, it was in that season that she was also able to grow her faith. Not also forgetting the first thing that she said is that seed. Before you even say something is growing, there has to be a seed that has been sown. And she consistently sowed the seed of. Today, people don't like to read the scriptures. They don't like to read. But we are not those kind of people, and that's why we're here today. Thank you so much, Ma. I'd like to ask again, in today's digital age, where everybody now goes online for everything, where does media and technology, what role does it play? How can we use this tool to build capacity instead of being distracted or drained by them? Look at the poll. Someone's challenge is the fact that there's digital distraction. Guys, I don't know about you, but it's easy to stay on, even if you're not doing anything, just checking status. Status alone is enough. 1 hour, you are there. You won't know when time has passed. And recall that that's also one of the stimulants in the environment that Coach C mentioned that can actually throw you off, emotionally. So, Ma, media has come to stay. There is nothing we can do. So how can we actually use it to better our faith walk? Over.
Okay, thank you. I think we must educate the world in which we are living in and not just swim with the tide. For every video that you watch, let's even take the adverts, for instance. The maximum length of adverts that you see is 1 minute, 60 seconds. Most of them, after the first campaign, they will reduce it to 30 seconds because they're paying for time. But if you ask the people in the, you'll be amazed how much time is being spent to put together content for us to view. What I try to load so much into the airwaves, what am I doing? Do I just want to be a consumer? Too. Some people are making money creating the content that we are just sitting down and consuming, whether they are good or they are bad. So if we want to begin to talk about using the media and technology to advantage, first of all, let's understand it, what it is and what it stands for, and how much of it you want in your life. You're the owner of your devices, you're the owner of your time. How much of your time will you spend on entertainment, news, and information? We justify it. We just, oh, it's news. I need to listen to news. It's good to listen to news. Oh, I need this information. Yes. Oh, but I need to rest. I need to relax a bit. But how much of your 24 hours do you wish to spend on entertainment, news, and information? If you can decide that, then you will be moving forward in fulfilling your purpose. Number two thing I'd like to say is you will become what you see. We all know the story. Some of us know the story about Jacob when he was trying to get his liberty from his father-in-law. And God gave him a revelation that he should peel a rod and put it in front of his animals whenever they were drinking water and mating. Eventually, the DNA of the animals were modified and they gave birth based on what they saw. So you will become what you see. Be selective about how you learn. Who is teaching you and what is. We used to only go to learn Korea, and she was very excited about it, getting all the tricks. And then suddenly she stopped. And I was like, what's happening? We're no longer hearing all the Korean vocabularies in the house again. She said they're now using the LGBT curriculum. All the examples that they are using for them has to do with having a couple who both males and saying who is the husband, who is the wife, and all that. So there are a lot of benefits coming from the media. There are things we want to take advantage of, but at what cost? Is it at the cost? Is it at the cost of our purpose? So you need to know who is teaching you and what is being teach you. Be selective. And again, be selective about the content of your entertainment, the content of your news and information. Some people find gory pictures really entertaining. They find violence really entertaining. And that's amazing because that's what feel in most of the things that we watch. There was a time I had to do a study abroad and I discovered that all their dramas, just you want to have just 30 minutes. I don't spend much time on the television, just watch, something light just for 30 minutes, but everything centered around a dead body. Every drama that they had, you would definitely see a dead body. And I told myself, no, I don't want this. So we need to be selective about the content of our entertainment, even the content of the news you're taking in, the content of the information, because faith comes by hearing. And fear also comes by hearing. A lot of negative things comes in by hearing as well. The things we see, the things we hear will determine how strong our inner strength will be. And we're talking about fulfilling purpose. So if you are weakening your natural defense,
If you're making your immunity to be very low, the day that you face challenges, it's going to be difficult. And how do we weaken our immunity? When we open our minds to uncensored image. So be very selective. A lot of us are very active on the media. Be very selective. It is your responsibility to be selective about the things you allow into your mind. Now, apart from things you should watch out for, have a daily to weekly routine of growing your faith. Have a daily to weekly routine of growing your faith. Have a faith building program you watch or listen to every week. Find a speaker, a teacher, a preacher, or a pastor who will engage you, whose teaching will stir up your faith, that you can say, okay, every week I'm going to be watching this, I'm going to be learning from this. That is aside from commitment to physical fellowship in your church. Then personally study the scriptures every day. Another thing you can do is make daily or weekly posts about your faith. Two things I would like to round off with. If there's any platform that you belong to that you discover that the conversations that goes on there is entering your faith, please get off that platform. And the last thing I would like to say, particularly where media gets us to be very toxic, is don't get involved in any form of argument. Don't get involved in any form of argument. Titus 3, verse 9 to 10 says, but avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, dissensions, and quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. So please, as much as we want to use the technology to develop our faith and be a tool to reach our purpose in life, there are certain things we need to also know. There are the do's and the don'ts of it. We don't want it to because off. Thank you.
So much, Ma. So this one is a very short one, If you could leave us with one word, just one word that we shouldn't forget, what will that word be? Maybe just a phrase, a tagline, that we should all go on with or go home with. What will that be?
The jeers or the cheers, never look back. That's the star that will guide you to your destination, to your purpose. Keep following Jesus. Through the wins, through the losses, through the years.
I heard that. Keep following, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did I? Okay. Thank you so much, Mar, for being here with us. Guys, please can you help me clap? These days now we have virtual version of everything. So please use your virtual hands. So please appreciate Mommy Yo as she takes if we were to be physical, it takes a bow, right? Okay. So we'll go to the next phase, which is building our capacity in the area of finance. Building capacity in the area of finance. We'll take a quick poll as well. I want to know the current state of your finance right now. How would you describe your financial status? We have an amazing speaker already, Mr. Wale Olajumoke. I've known Mr. Wale since university days, yeah, since way back. For me, I've sold many things in my life, but I've only known Mr. Wale for one thing, and that's capacity building, especially in the area of technology and leadership. So can we have the poll ready? I want to see the responses. So, which word describes your current financial status? Number 1, God abeg. 2, we are managing. 3, soft life. 3rd, secured and future ready. So guys, please go ahead. I want to see which one describes your current financial status. Is it the God abeg? Is it we are managing? Is it soft life? Or you are like ready, 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 ready? Please vote so I'll know those I'll write letter to next year. Oh God. So we'll end the poll in 10 seconds. So I'll count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So please can we have the results so we know where we are? Okay. 21% says, God, I beg. Okay. 58% says, we are managing. 5% says, soft life. I want to know these 16%. Secured and future ready. So that we can write letter to you next year. I hope that's cool, right? Okay, so Mr. Lay, good afternoon, sir. I'm that person that drags my teacher. I'm currently a student, so good afternoon, sir. Can we hear your voice so we can be sure that everyone can hear you?
All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, can you hear me?
Okay, so I need to...
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
I can hear you, but you need to speak up.
Okay, we can hear me better now.
I don't know whether I'm just the only one.
How about now? How about now? Is it clearer?
Okay, clearer. Thank you very much. Okay, so sir, what's your earliest memory of money? What is your earliest memory of money? And how has it shaped your relationship with money today? So just take us back to the memory lane of how you started, you know, and how it has brought you to where you are now. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. It's a privilege to share with young people today. So my earliest memory of money will be in primary 3, when I was in primary 3. So in break time, so I from my classmates back then. So then I returned the money to my mom to keep it for me, you know. So then during that period as well, I normally organize street football where people from different streets, they will form a team. So I will use tin milk and the shiny parts inside the box of cigarettes. I will remove that shiny paper, then use it to cover tin milk and bulb to form a cup. So that's the cup I normally give to them when they win. So then with time, I improve by getting a normal cup that people can win. So those are my early idea about money. So during Christmas, all these balloons, things people used to have fun. So I make it available to people, then they pay me in return for that. So that would be my earliest.
And how has it shaped the way you relate with money today?
Okay, how has it shaped how I relate with money today? So as somebody who get to know Christ early, there is something that is sacrosanct for me. So meaning that money is a tool. So in that way, I put it in perspective. So meaning that you have money so that you can be a blessing to people. So I don't see money as something that you do oppress people or something that used to show off to people or things like that. So I see it more as whatever vision you have, money help you to achieve that. So I see it as a tool, as a means as a so that's the way I see money.
I'm seeing a very funny comment saying, sir, you have Eastern Nigeria DNA for locum. And that's actually very funny because I'm thinking, where was I in primary 3? I didn't even have enough sense to think about money. But for you, you're already selling and it's so amazing. And I think, well, don't let me see what I think yet. So my next question will be, how do you achieve financial freedom when your take home cannot take you home? You know, I was telling a core member that I need to send my account number to her. At least let me start Jewomo, you know, that's where Yoruba. Let me start enjoying from, you know, and she said, as a copper in Abuja, your money is just for transport. I mean, and it makes sense to me, but we want to blow. So when whatever you're even giving is not even enough, how do you then achieve financial freedom? How do you build? I want to join the league of those future-ready people in that poll. I'm still managing. I want to, you know, step up. So please, sir, from your own experience, knowledge, you know, expertise, how do you think we can come out of that financial rut? Over to you, sir.
To come out of financial ruts, start with knowledge. In fact, when it comes to money, the most important thing is knowledge. Even though the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Now, that passage of the scripture can be in different aspects. It can be knowledge of Jesus Christ, so they perish when they don't know Christ and things like that. But even in other areas, it applies as well. So financially, people struggle for lack of knowledge. So how you can come out of financial difficulty, or when your take home cannot take you home, is you by acquiring knowledge. Now, people mistake financial stability for financial freedom. There are people you know today that you think they are wealthy. They are not wealthy. That is why sometimes some people, their dad will die and they now start struggling financially. So, meaning that their dad was financially stable. He wasn't financially free. Because if he's financially free, even if the father passed away, they are not meant to be struggling financially, despite the person passing away. So I'm trying to establish the fact that people's understanding of wealth or financial freedom is somehow incorrect, in the sense that they define somebody as wealthy when the person have a house, when the person can travel for vacation. Why those things are good, it does not necessarily mean the person is financially free. Now, for example, if I'm working with a big company, let's say oil and gas company or whatever organization, and they are paying me well. Now, let's say I'm earning like 5 million as salary on monthly basis. With that 5 million naira, I'm able to do everything. But I still need that money. That's financial stability. Financial freedom means even if you stop working, you resign today, you are sleeping 24 hours, you still be able to meet all your needs. That's financial freedom. And that's why I said most people are financially stable. They are not financially free because if the dad loses the job, he will now go back to square one. But when you're financially free, even losing your job should not hinder your meeting your financial obligation, because your financial obligation is not dependent on your active income. You don't have to exchange your money. Your question, I would say, start with knowledge. What is money? How can I make money? How can I manage my money? How can I multiply my money? Invest in all these things I've said. That is what I started with. So I started asking myself, these people that are rich, these people that are wealthy, how did they become that? Initially, I thought some people are designed to be wealthy. People like Dangote or Otedola, Mike Adenuga, Bill Gates, and so on. I thought money is reserved for a certain set of people. But when I started seeking knowledge, I discovered that anybody can be wealthy, even if you are born in Ajegunle. I wasn't born young. In fact, that was the one spur me into entrepreneurship, solving problems for people in exchange for money. So in summary, how you can move from your take home not being able to take you home is by seeking knowledge on how to create wealth, on how to make money, how to manage money, how to multiply money. When you know those things and you start acting on them, you will start seeing difference in your life. So I hope that answers your question.
Sir, I want to still ask you. You said, can you mention like one or two of those things? Because if you're seeking knowledge, sir, I have books, but I'm not financially free yet. So like, what exactly, like if you can mention like one or two specifics that maybe people can even begin to practice from today, that will be my follow-up with this.
All right. Okay, that's a good one. So let me use myself as an example. So like I told you, I wasn't born with a silver spoon, so it's not that we have all the money. So I sat down and I asked myself, and so what, because in my course of learning, studying, reading books, I discovered that money is an exchange of value. And that has been my guide since then. So I asked myself, if money is an exchange of value, because before now it is traded by barter, you bring rice, I bring salt, or I bring yam, we exchange. Over time, we started using cash, to determine the cost of goods before you can get that in exchange. So it means that if I need 1 million naira now, the question will be, what value can I exchange that will make someone or an organization to pay me 1 million naira? So that was what I asked myself. Listed the skills that I have. Okay, I can build websites, I can do this, I can do that. So I listed it down. So I asked myself, okay, how do I get people who need this skill that I have, who need this service that I can offer? So I started reaching out to people in my church, in my environment, and start telling them about how I can solve their problem, how I can be of value to them. So that's how I started. And the money they pay me, I started saving it. Then I started saving it. And with time, I started investing that money to be able to generate extra income. And you're still not wealthy. The question will be, what value can you offer to people? So if you say you can do XYZ, that XYZ, is it enough to earn you the kind of income that you desire? If the answer is no, then you have to ask yourself, can I upgrade that skill that you have now? Or if you don't have any skill at all, what skill can I acquire that can help me solve problems for people in exchange for money? And if you already have the skill, how can I package that skill? How can I develop it in a way that it will command the kind of money that I desire? And that's where things like mentoring comes in. So sometimes you might even have all the skills, all the ability, but you're still not being able to get desired result. So you might need to get a mentor who has achieved what you wanted to achieve. Then that mentor can listening to me now, their reality is different from each other. So what the mentor will guide somebody to start doing might be different from what another person will start doing. But the summary of it is that it starts from you being able to create value that you can exchange for money. And the higher that value you create, the more you'll be rewarded, the more you'll be paid. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So this will be my final question for today, for time's sake. And honestly, you guys will agree that one day is not enough to exhaust even a fraction of these discussions, but at least there should be something that you can begin to use even from today. My question will be, I think, in my own opinion, that the competition is a bit tougher now for young people. So I'm in Lagos and I'm competing. I'm not now, because of technology, I'm not just competing with people in Lagos. I'm also competing with someone in Lagos in Portugal because of the digital world that we have found ourselves in. So if you're in Maryland, you're not just competing with Nigeria, you're competing with someone in Maryland, USA as well, because of the kind of digital world we found ourselves. So as a young person, how can we leverage these tools to our advantage? Because yes, it's a challenge on one side, but I also feel that with every challenge, there could be opportunities too. So as a young person, how can you leverage ICT the tech world, so to speak, to your advantage? Thank you, sir.
As much as that's posed a challenge, guess what? That's even the leverage that we have today. Let me explain. Years back, if I want to be known, if I want to reach more people, I'll go to places like TV and radio station. And far back then, I cannot afford it. So that means my reach is limited. But today is not so. Today, from the comfort of my room with my phone, I can reach thousands of people in an instant. So that means technology even give us more opportunity than what we can achieve before now. Even my organization, most of the people that patronize us are people who get to find out about us online. So if you Google about data analysis training in Nigeria, DevOps training in Nigeria, data science training in Nigeria, and all that we offer. And when they see, they click, they see what we offer, and they reach out to us. So young people can leverage on that as well. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, they are platforms that you can leverage to communicate the value that you offer. On a daily basis, I post about what I do. I post about my trainings. Other people see that and they will reach out, oh, can you come and train our staff as well? Can you come and train our company as well? I've trained staff of banks, government officials, multinational companies, even outside Nigeria. I don't know them from Adam. How did they get to know me? How do I get to train them? Of the hair you are making, talk about it, talk about why you started making hair. If you are into tech skill, talk about the skills you have, share the designs you are making, share the code you are writing, talk about the solution you are creating. Those things are what your target audience will see, and it will inspire them and they will reach out to you. Today I'm a friend with a billionaire that ordinarily I cannot have access to through social media. I just chatted him up and I appreciate what he's doing and tell him about the value I can create. And before you know it, we're able to build relationship. And later on, they even paid me to build their website. So imagine if I don't have that skill, I will not be able to build that kind of relationship. And imagine there's no technology, social media platforms and things like that. It will be difficult for me to access him. So technology is a leverage. So use it to expand what you do, to communicate what you do, to expand your reach. And then
time with you. So I'll just wrap up all you've said in 2 statements. First, have value. And after you have value, communicate your value. Don't let it be like it's only you and your children that knows what you're doing. You can use technology even to reach the world. Mr. Wale, thank you so much for being a part of Purpose Conference 2025. Thank you, sir. So we'll move to the final and I think the most interesting part for me, which is relationship and marriage. Relationship and marriage. And this person, in fact, even if you are married, if you are going to the altar now, the way they used to do, this husband and wife, you feel intimidated. Honestly, they intimidate me every day. It's so such an honor that they've been models in the area of relationships and marriage. I've heard him, I've seen him live out his words, and it's such an honor to have Femi Ndagana today to talk us through relationship and marriage, how to build capacity in that area. Welcome on board this afternoon, sir. Can we have you say hi so that we can know you are there?
Hi, nice you.
Thank you,
Hello,
sir,
thank you.
and for your patience too.
Thank you very much. I'm
Thank
excited
you
to
so
be here.
much.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Sir, first question. First question. From your experience, does marriage help or hinder people from living a life of purpose? Like, is marriage such a big deal? So, what do you think, sir?
One question I heard you ask was, does marriage hinder you living a life of purpose? You know me. Straight away, I will tell you. Never. You know that all the other speakers have been really, really wonderful, have made impact in my life, and I followed from beginning up to now. Marriage does not hinder your life purpose. When marriage is built on trust, like my own marriage is, sorry, I know yours is built on trust, but I'll always blow the trumpet of my own marriage because I'm enjoying it. When marriage is built on trust, when marriage is built on friendship, when marriage is built on God's word, it is never a hindrance. Instead, it is a multiplier of purpose. Yes, it's a multiplier of purpose. Me and my wife, I found my wife as a partner, and we don't compete with each other's calling. In fact, we complement each other's calling. For a while now, my wife had started her music ministry, and it's been 6 years now. And this year she'll be having her 5th concert. There was a time that and you know me now, anywhere she goes, I go. I follow her everywhere. I'm her manager. She's my client, they used to call them. So I'm with her always. And one apostle had invited her to a program. He ministered. And I know you two are a pastor, but we have had challenges with pastors and their wives who are ministers, and the pastors always feel the wives are overshadowing them with their ministry. So they feel obliged that when the wife is invited for a program, they also should be made visible. That he was telling me that sometimes your own visibility will come through your wife. Maybe he thought I was going to be offended, or he was trying to find a way. But me, it doesn't bother me. As long as my wife is doing very well, I keep supporting and supporting, because we're not in a competition. Instead, we're complementing each other. And it is by complementing each other that our ministries will thrive. My wife is fulfilling purpose now because I'm supporting her. If I had refused to support her, and it's usually very difficult for men. If I refuse to support her and say, no, I'm the man, she's the one that's supposed to be supporting me and be following me everywhere, then she wouldn't be fulfilling purpose. But because our marriage is built on trust, friendship, like you mentioned, ministry is fulfilling purpose. Just recently, I started a podcast, and that's why I like what the first speaker said. He gave an example with somebody who started a podcast, and the podcast was just having very few views, but some years later, it has exploded. Yes, I just started a podcast, Uncle Femi, and I've had that dream for a while. It was my wife that kept reminding me, this thing that you say you want to do, when are we going to start it? I told her, we'll start. She's the one that fired me up, and we started. And it's been going well. Today, I'm going to have the 5th episode. So I am a manager, she's my manager too. So we're complementing and are thriving. When your spouse becomes your true friend, when your spouse is your cheerleader, when your spouse is your prayer partner, marriage doesn't limit you, it only expands you.
Okay, so all the people that be frowning their face, they don't want to marry because they feel like, maybe that was even also be my my follow-up question. You hear stuff like, do all the things you want to do now before you marry. And people are still there, 35 years, 40, because they want to do all the things they want to do now before they get married. Because once you get married, hey, you cannot do anything again. To some extent, it is true, because Because, in fact, when children come, your focus in all of that just changes. So how do you manage this tension between personal ambition? I think I captioned it, personal ambition and family responsibility, because nobody forced you to marry. You decided you were going to marry. So now that you have married, you still want to do. So how do you manage that tension between your personal ambitions and your family responsibility?
Thank you very much. The idea that marriage kills freedom is a myth. And it's a very, very terrible myth. It is not true. True, marriage brings responsibility. But responsibility is not bondage. In fact, if you did not hear anything from me, just know it today. Responsibility is not bondage. Instead, it is maturity. My wife and I, we encourage each other's ambitions. We encourage each other's career. And to say the truth, I'm not just trying to hype my wife or this. I feel incomplete without her. And that's why some people decide to call me woman rapper.
Again, so as to, you know, pepper some guys that we meet in this room, especially ones that refuse to get married. Like, can you say that again? You feel so what?
I feel incomplete without Vashti. Yet I also feel empowered to pursue my purpose because she always stands with me. In fact, achieving my purpose is more realizable because she's standing with me. Hello, you can't hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear him? Okay.
Please, if you can hear me on the chat group, can
go
you
ahead,
say...
sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, am I audible? Am I audible enough? I need just somebody. Okay, somebody says yes. Okay, so they can hear me. Please, organizers, help Ayo do something about her earpiece so that she can hear what I'm saying. So, I feel, and the key is never letting your ambition to destroy your family, because family is very important. And also never use family as an excuse to bury your God-given ambition. That you need to just find that balance. You need to integrate both, knowing that your family is also part of your purpose. It's not a distraction. Yes, because exam for my professional growth. Everybody put everything at standstill for me. I had to hold the exam in my house. It was online. Everybody left the house. They deliberately left the house. They could stay, and I did, because there wasn't supposed to be any noise around me. They left the house, and everybody kept asking, Daddy, how is it? How is it going? Everybody was in it with me because they support me. They support my growth. They support my ambition. So don't use ambition to kill your family, and don't use your family to kill your ambition. There has to be a balance, and strike that balance, and I tell you, the sky is the starting point.
Thank you very much, sir. And I can see your wife already peppering us in the chat room. Thank you. This one thing that people talk about marriage. Most times you get finding the right person, you know, and there is so much about finding the right person. But I have come to see that it is one thing to get married. It is another thing to stay married. And it is yet another thing to be happily married. Like, there are three different things. So some people are just in the marriage because, I don't have anywhere to go. They have already rented out my room in my father's house. I can't go back. You know, so how do we build capacity for fulfilling relationships? And I mean relationships, not just marriage. Now, you know, relationships where it's not just about finding the right person, but staying happily married. So how do you build, what practical things can we do to build capacity for fulfilling relationships?
Okay, let me see if I can mention a few. But just like you said, it's true. Getting is easy. Yes, all these my guys are refusing to get married. It is easy. I know the thing that is bothering you is the after the marriage. But the truth is that getting married is easy. But staying happily married is where the work lies. So if you want to build capacity for a fulfilling marriage, or fulfilling relationship, number one, you have to grow in communication and conflict resolution skills. You have to grow those skills personally. How to communicate. There was a time we held a seminar or a discussion with young couples, and we just threw out a poll. And in that poll, we found out that the major thing that was causing issues between the couple was communication. Being able to communicate to the other person how you feel, what you want. So you have to grow those communication skills. And you find out that in every sphere of life, communication is always very key. If there's a of what is going on. So you have to grow in communication. You're living with somebody and you have decided to stay with somebody for the rest of your life, you have to also grow conflict resolution skills. How can we settle issues? My wife and I have been married for 17 years now. And in these 17 years, we have never reported our matter to anybody. It's not that we have not had issues. We have had issues, we have quarreled, we have turned our back at each other on the bed. But later we have found a way to resolve it because we just told ourselves that this is what we must do. We will not allow the other day to come without settling it. So whether she will send me a text or whether I will just crack one joke or say something, we have learned to develop conflict resolution skills so that we do not keep issues pending. Number two, you have to practice openness and trust. Your life's relationship in marriage. My wife knows everything about me. I know everything about her. In fact, God helped us that the way we met at the beginning, even before we got married, we had already exposed ourselves to each other. That was one of the things that just endeared me to her. She told me some things that ladies will not tell a man. My wife told me. And I told her some things that guys usually will not tell a lady. And it just clicked. I just knew that this, like Adam said, the bone of my bone, the flesh, I just knew it straight. No hidden lives, naked and not ashamed. Where there is trust and openness, then you can build a fulfilling marriage. Let me just rush through a few more and then I'll hand over back to you. Choosing modesty and humility rather than pride. If there is any one of you that decides to be proud and puffed up, then it's destroying that marriage or destroying that relationship. Because the other one will feel as if they are being looked down upon. When I saw my wife first time, I just saw her like one ajabo lady, but she was very, very humble. I said, this one, I don't marry you, finish. So humility, and it has helped us all through. My wife is not the one that one woman told her that your husband is working has a good job. How come that you're not trying the latest Hollandese, you're not trying the latest ramen, you're not buying the latest? All of you that know my wife, she is humility personified, and that has helped us so much. And she doesn't feel as if I'm looking down on her. That helps as the final authority and fulfilling marriage. And then finally, supporting ministries. Don't strive the other person's ministry. It's not just kind of person who can weather storms, who can forgive, who can keep growing together. Yes, ma'am.
For that. Thank you so much, sir. This will be the final one. And I really will appreciate if you can make it very brief. But I feel this is also very important. Because we're talking about capacity. How does one deal with personal weaknesses without making excuses for bad behavior in relationships? If you hear stuff like, that is who I am, in our ancestry, in our family, that is who we are, you know? But we want to build meaningful relationships. So how do we deal with bad behaviors, personal weaknesses, without making excuses for them?
Beautiful question. Number one thing is honesty. You have to be honest and first admit that you have that weakness, that weakness exists. You have to, if you admit, open up to your partner that I have this weakness, I'm honest about it. That's the first step. The second step is about what you said, is taking responsibility and refusing to normalize bad behavior. With those steps for our family now, so will be. No. Refuse to normalize that bad behavior. You have acknowledged you have that weakness, take responsibility and say, no, it's not part of me. I'm going to look for a way to take care of it. Then number 3, depend on God's word and prayer for strength. The Pastor Titi that took the panel session on faith, if you go to her, the first thing she will tell you is to pray. And that's it. If you depend on God's word and pray for strength, there is nothing that is bigger than you. Find, while you are praying, seek for practical accountability. Look for people like mentors who can help you through. See, in marriage, your spouse often sees your blind spots. So instead of being defensive, learn to accept correction with humility.
Thank you so much, sir. But before you go, we want you to do something for us, so we don't waste time further. Yes. But before we do that thing is to announce the winners of Purpose Story Contest. But before we do that, can we have been talking since like 11, right? We started about a few minutes past 11. Can I get feedbacks? Guys, what have you been hearing since morning? What have you been hearing? What have you been hearing? What have you been hearing? What is 1, 2, 3 things that you would take away from Purpose Conference 2025? We have been bombarding you with mails. We have been sending you messages, reminder. Purpose Conference is about to, shut down. What is one thing that you will be taking away from this conference? I'm looking to the chat room to get your responses. I'd like to hear. I want to know whether all of the things that we have even said since morning are even making sense to you. We've talked about, we had the keynote from Mayowa Fadari. We talked about emotional agility. I didn't even have time to really talk about that. We had emotional agility from Coach C. We've had the panel sessions on family, on faith, on finance. So I'm looking to the chat room. What is the one thing? What is the 2 thing? What is the 3 thing that you will take away from this event before we leave? What is the one thing? Okay, so Akambi said, be humble, pray, and seek knowledge. Be humble, pray. As simple as this statement is, see, that first one is very hard. Be humble, pray, and seek knowledge, And someone here says, there is no growth without service. So I think you should now be asking, how do I serve? This thing I've been hearing, you must be able to, the keynote speaker said something. We are not sure of ourselves because we don't even trust the knowledge that we have, because you've not tested the knowledge anywhere. It is when you trust the knowledge that you have that you can, begin to talk about it. So what is the one thing that you will be going home with? So she's saying there is no growth about service. So my encouragement to you is find where you will serve. Someone here says, to build capacity, I will patiently wait. Patiently wait. So someone is thinking capacity is about something from outside. No. Is something that will come from it. It's like you want to stretch. The vessel is inside you. So it's like you want to stretch that vessel. You want to stretch that vessel inside of you. Okay, so someone here says, know the type of land that you are. Don't copy. Know the materials. And you will need to develop your land. You will need to develop your land. Yeah, you need to develop your land. So, are we ready to announce our winners? Are we ready, media? Okay, so someone here says, acknowledge your weaknesses. Acknowledge your weaknesses. In fact, the beginning of capacity is knowing yourself. I'm also seeing that here. Capacity is knowing yourself. And we also want to hear from you, want to get feedback from the events and how we can also better prepare for next year. So the link to the feedback form is already in the chat room. Please copy and give us feedback. It wouldn't take up to 1 minute. It was made so simple such that you can, attend to the questions very well. Just in 1 minute, you are done with the feedback. Are we ready, guys? I didn't get that. No. Okay, so I'd like to hand over to our last speaker to call out our winners, the top 10. So just to give them the backstory to it, we want people to share their purpose story. We believe that purpose is not until you become Michael Tedola. There's something small you are doing to affect other people's lives. So we made it open September 1st to September 30th. No, even October 1st. We extended 24 hours or 48 hours or so for people to share your purpose story. So out of people that put in their purpose story, we selected 10 that will be mentored for the next 4 months. And we also have a top 3 that will get an additional cash prize. So we'll be revealing those 10 now and before we proceed with wrapping up. So over to you, sir. Femi Ndagana.
Okay, so the winners are Oluwafemi Faisal, Ezekiel Fintrian Eli, Okorie Favor, Abba Chigozie Joyce, Deborah Ibukun, Taiwo Aderonke Priscilla, Amen Mercy Ene, Mirabel Husseina Ibrahim, Promise Emmanuel Valentine, and Praise Pius. Congratulations, guys. So the top 3 winners, 100,000 naira each. I wish my name was on this list. 100,000 naira each. Top 3, 100,000 naira each. Courtesy the Purpose Conference. Congratulations. Wow. So the top 3 winners are Okorie Favor, Ezekiel Eli, and Deborah Feintolua Ibukun. Congratulations. Please put your hands together for them. These are the top 3 winners, 100,000 naira each. I wish I was your pastor so that you could pay tithes to me. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. This is beautiful. Celebrate you guys.
Okay, guys, congratulations. Like you said, I wish I was the person that will collect the title of the money too. But it's nice. Thank you for your amazing efforts at attempting the purpose story. And thank you for your patience also in being a part of what we've been doing so far. And we'll definitely see you in the room. We'll continue to communicate with you. It officially starts November, so we can have time to really properly prepare and put things in place. So, and this is also to encourage someone also. So when you see the advert next year, don't feel like, what are they doing, Seth? It's surreal. It's like, it is real. It is real. So that will be my final words to you. Welcome on board the Mindshift family. Welcome on board the Purpose Story, the Purpose family, you know. So we'll have closer interactions with ourselves, with our mentors, you're going to be exposed to resources also that will help you along as you explore your journey in life. And before I hand over to my Amaibu MCs, can I say thank you enough for your patience so far? I really cannot thank you enough. There are many people that have made this event a success. Partners, volunteers, people that have worked, if you know the meaning of tirelessly, you know, to have made today a reality. Thank you so much. Friends, family, everybody, I really cannot thank you enough. Thank you for believing in us so much as to join and as to wait even till this point. Thank you. And I'd like to hand over to our MCs.
Wow, what a day. What a day.
Session.
I don't know about you,
what an
but
amazing section.
I've been so blessed by today's conference. I mean, from the theme alone, it's a topic on its own.
It's been back to back.
I mean,
impact.
building capacity, knowledge, you know, faith, family, finance, talking about them, emotional agility. It's been a whole lot. Now, before we go, we would like you to please look into the chat room. There's a feedback form there. We would like to hear from you what this conference has taught you, what you will be doing going forward, the steps you take going forward.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. To our amazing speakers, to our panelists, and to our sweet convener, we would like to say thank you, and to everyone that make this happen behind the scene. You all are the real MVPs. I love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
And to all those that tuned in, thank you very much for joining from different locations. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you. And we hope to see you in Purpose Conference 2026. And all this word that we've heard, don't just leave it just like that. Make use of it in order to achieve your purpose. Thank you all. Till we meet again in Purpose Conference 2026. Keep living in purpose, keep shining, and keep mounting up. I love you all. Bye.